All right, y'all. We checking in one time for the one time. Let's go ahead and tap in with your boy. It's the Don Dada None. How the top five, not five. We gonna run it back. We gonna run it back. See, let me set this backdrop for y'all so you can see what's going on. So y'all can go ahead and see if y'all want to participate or not. I do have the invitation on open invite. That means as soon as you request up, you will be accepted. While we going over this or while we waiting on participants to come up, I want to show y'all something real quick. And let me go ahead and put the vibes in the background. Top shot. Y'all already know. Top shot, the top five, not five. All right. So yesterday, let me see if I can find it actually in my history. Yesterday we had a pseudo bring up a source, and I did want to show y'all something, but we had a few guests on here. I didn't want to interrupt anyone. But let me show y'all something in this source. It was the Baltimore dude had pulled up what was that? The Booker T. Washington, The Rise of the Race from Slavery. So I'm gonna pull up this book real quick because I wanted to show y'all something that I didn't get to in this book. So see if I can still find it, because there was a couple of them in here. So y'all go ahead, come on, pull on up. Let's talk about it. You see the topics we got on the screen. You know, like I said, I try to cast a wide net so that I can get some type of counter arguments in here. I feel like these people are extinct. I feel like they don't really want no smoke with me specifically. But more than anything, I feel like they have kind of like been ostracized from the internet community, or they know to stay in their echo chambers. They definitely still out there somewhere, because when I go to my other page, they still be out there. But I don't know if they're trying to keep me away from them. That's the best thing they could do. Let me see if I can find this source, y'all. It was in the first chapter, the story of the Negro rise and race of slavery, Booker T. Washington. Never bow down. Let me see if I can find this exact one. Hold on, y'all. But yeah, we're going to make sure we show some sources today. We don't want to hear none of that yapping. So if you got some evidence to substantiate any of these claims on here, whether that's the FBA claim, the indigeneity claim, this Moorish identity claim or nationality claim, any type of connection that the ancient Egypt we supposed to have, the HBI, IUIC, ISUPK, all y'all pop out, man. I just seen 1,000 ISUPK in a random hill, like they got something to talk about, but they never pop out. You know what I'm saying? They never pop out. I know y'all got access to internet, or y'all already living off the land. Let me just see if I can go to this first chapter, because it was in the very, very beginning. Top shot, the top five, not five. Let me go. Okay, appreciate you coming up. Life changing. I don't know if you've seen the background.
Peace, brother.
Peace, brother. All right, now, so yeah, this is a debate platform right here. We debate on all these different ideologies and identity claims, from the FBA indigeneity claim. That's the pre-colonial claim that they have. The Moorish identity and nationality claim, ancient Egyptian claim, where they think that somehow black people are ancient Egyptians. The what is it? BHI claim, where people say we're connected to the Israelites. Theism versus naturalism, evolution versus creationism, and nationality, ethnicity topics. So, which one of these topics would you like to tackle today? Well, let me ask you this then. Firstly, do you believe that man was created, or do you think that man evolved?
Ground surface as they go down, but they also have
evolved.
Okay. Do you think that black people was in America prior to colonialism?
Some, yeah.
Okay, some. All right. How do you substantiate that claim? I'm sorry. Let's start over by doing this one. I'll get to you real quickly, sisters. What is your methodology for coming to the conclusion on what's true, accurate, correct, or essentially a fact?
You know what? I feel like what's true is what you can prove, and same thing with the fact. I believe that I believe that a lot of us have a lot of history, like humans in general. Got a lot of history as humans.
Right.
Can I ask you two questions, host?
Sure.
Okay. The first question is, can I use your prompt when I go live? Like, can I screenshot it and use the same thing?
Absolutely, you can.
Okay, I wanted to get your permission for that too. And my second question is like, what's can I ask you like, what's your thoughts? Like, do you think we come from like different tribes out of West Africa?
Yeah, I do. That's Black Americans are composed or comprised of multiple tribes from West and West Central Africa, and that's probably the real reason why we can't unite over here because we wasn't one people to begin with. But
Yeah,
I,
I
I do
agree
want
with the
to,
host.
yeah, but I do want to tap into the to that part. But let's go ahead and get Census involved in the conversation. But I do want to talk about when he talked about proof and fact. And how we kind of go along, or how we figure out what is a fact, or how and what kind of substantiates proof for those facts. But tap into this conversation with me, Cesis. I already went over the backdrop, but as you can
Yeah.
see, it's over the FBA claims, the Pretendian claim, Morse identity, etc.
Black people want to be anything but something. Like they just want. I think they just looking for uniqueness. That's why they create a lot of different styles. Not all of them are good, you know. Some of them do pick up that are like kind of cool, but like black women spend more money on their fucking appearance than the average woman, and it's because they're trying to mask something that they're not. You know, they got so much jewelry and hairdos and nails and it's just crazy. So just like be who you are. Just acknowledge that, hey, it's like that a lot of you guys came over from West Africa and the transatlantic slave trade. And that's about it. You know, you're not Jays, you're not FBAs, you're not here in America, you weren't all over the planet. You're like most of the people are like sub-Saharan Africa. You're not Egyptians. Like
Right.
Jesus wasn't
Let me ask you
sub-Saharan
a question
Africa.
real
He was
quick.
maybe a little bit more melanated, but Jesus was what someone from
Iraq,
Egypt or the Middle East would look like today.
Right, I agree. Let me ask you a question real quick. Do you mind sharing your ethnicity with us?
Oh yeah, I'm white.
Did you know white isn't an ethnicity though? I found out a lot of
Oh,
people. Yeah, I found
sorry. I
out.
thought you said. Sorry. Yeah, you're right. My ethnicity is I'm more American, and then if you
What's
want
the
to go back like
nationality?
my parents, grandparents, and stuff like German, Polish, like England, like
All
England on my mom's
nationalities.
side, and
What,
like
what's
German,
your ethnicity?
Polish.
Yeah,
Those
that's
are
what
all
I think what Cornbread.
nationalities.
Yeah, what Cornbread was saying. Yeah, those are nationalities. But yeah, I mean, similarly in that context with what you just said or how you answered that question, I found out a lot of African Americans don't know their ancestors' ethnicity all the same because you reference nationalities even after you reference a racial group. But nonetheless, that's not really the
Yeah, I
point.
get it.
Even though I could kind of make it a point, being that a lot of us we identify
Yeah, message
with our
received.
nationality as an American, and a lot of us have the American
Like, should I
culture.
said Germanic or whatever?
I mean, you would say, I
That
guess
would be more of
specific.
ethnicity is Germanic.
Your ethnic group. You don't have one. That's why you don't know it.
It would be tribes.
Uh,
It would be tribes in the region that is now Germany. So it could be Nordic or something. Maybe Nordic or something like that.
Nordic would be like Scandinavian areas.
Right. Right.
So I wouldn't be that. What would be like the German
Well,
Polish
modern day.
areas? Like Germanic, right? Germanic.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Modern day Germany was a part of Scandinavia, but probably like before your ancestors would have claimed it. I mean, when did your ancestors come over here?
Supposedly like pretty early on in America's history on my mom's side. Like supposedly someone on the Mayflower. I don't know how true that is.
All right. Nonetheless, I don't want to get.
Everybody seems to say that though. You know, everybody says that. So I get sussed out.
You said the Mayflower. All right.
Yeah, supposedly on my mom's side, like fucking came over on the Mayflower from England, you know. But on my dad's side,
Let me get cornbread
his
in the conversation
grandparents
real quick.
did come over from Germany.
Yeah,
Yeah, the Pilgrims, dude. I guess that's what I would. That's
yeah.
that looks like
Ethnic group.
Grandpa.
That's your ethnicity.
Dude, that's my great 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 great
That's your
great great great
ethnicity,
great
man.
great
That's your
grandpa.
ethnicity.
Fuck
You're a
yeah.
pilgrim. Oh,
Berries and
you're a
cream,
descendant
berries
of
and
the
cream.
original
I'm just a little
pilgrims.
lad that loves berries and cream.
Yeah, I don't think
Y'all should.
the Pilgrims were ethnically any of the regions that's in Germany though.
No, they came from England.
Right, right, right. Yeah, so most of them was or that would kind of be like Anglo-Saxon or something of the sort.
Yeah,
But nonetheless,
Anglo-Saxon.
yeah, but nonetheless, I didn't want to divert to that, but it is a good subject we could always get into because, like I say, if we ask African Americans what's their ancestral ethnicity, they really oftentimes don't know specifically unless they've done a DNA test, which makes sense because of slavery, all the atrocities they've been through. But I do find it amazing that a lot of people of European descent
They're like, whatever,
don't know
just
it all the same.
abort the baby.
Yeah, yeah. Either way, but nonetheless, so why do you think that is why a lot of identity crisis is going on? Well, I kind of just talked about it, but even when it comes to like the beauty standards, it's a good content creator. He's on Instagram where he goes around and he asks like a lot of black women and women. He's on Instagram where he goes around. Okay, he dropped. All right, let me get you up on here, Mustafa. Appreciate you coming up to the panel. Hold on, let me chop it up with Cornbread real quick. He didn't get to introduce himself. Cornbread, you want to go over the prompt real quick before I introduce Mustafa?
I'm gonna let you carry the conversation. I'm gonna hop in when I take my dogs out. I'm putting the leashes on.
All right. Appreciate you, Mustafa, coming up here. So, yeah, this is a debate platform. I see we got a lot of friendlies on here, which is my fear. I kind of really want some antagonists, somebody who kind of stands on the FBA side, the pretendian side, the Moorish side. I'm sorry, not the pretendian, the indigenous identity claim, the ancient Egyptian claim, the Hebrew Israelite claim, whether it's IUIC or the ISUPK or where did my guest go? All right, y'all, tap the screen. Let's see if we can get some antagonists up here, y'all. Y'all know we have a hard time finding debates. And I don't understand why. Is FBA still out there? And let me do this real quick before they start playing with me. Oh, matter of fact, I said I was going to show something anyway. Let me show y'all this. So from yesterday, I don't know if y'all remember when Baltimore called itself showing the source that was referencing the black people were the Moors, which he did not do it successfully, and he actually was debunked by his own source like they often do. In his book, he presented the story of the Negro, the rise of the race from slavery by Booker T. Washington. So while we're mentioning the ISUPK, IUIC, the BHI claim, this was very interesting to me. I came across this while I was reading a little bit of the book. It says right here, the Negro slave always believed that someday they would be free. From the Bible, the only book the masses of people knew anything about, they learned the story about the children of Israel, of the house of bondage, and the 40 years of wandering in the wilderness, and they easily learned to apply this story to their own case. Make sure y'all see that. I'm actually reading from the book. Let me see if I can read it from here. So I just find that part very interesting when it comes to the BHI claim. But we got a guest up here, Max. Max, appreciate you for coming up here. So this is a debate platform. I appreciate you, brother. So this is a debate platform. I try to have some antagonist, somebody to have a counter argue with me. I am pushing against all these claims on the screen right here, whether that's the FBA claim, people who think the FBA is, I don't know what they think it is, but I kind of let them decide. The indigenous claim, where they think that black people was in America prior to colonialism. The Moorish identity claim, or the nationality claim. The ancient Egyptian claim, where people think that black people are Egyptians. The BHI claim, ISUPK, IUCI, whatever. And theism, naturalism, evolution, creationism, etc. Which one of these topics would you like to tackle today?
Let's talk about FBA because I'm kind of curious what the FBA claim is.
Okay, so you wouldn't claim to be FBA?
Oh, I'm FBA, but it's not it's not really anything like an ideology I claim. It's just a lineage.
So you think FBA is a lineage?
Yeah.
How do you find lineage?
What do you mean? How you define lineage? It's just like your people. It's where your people come from.
By your people, you mean your specific family?
Yeah.
Okay. So the definition of a lineage is actually that. So that's why I kind of wonder how FBA all claim to be a part of the same lineage, because it would be them claiming to be part of the same family. But just to be specific here, and not to play semantics, people always accuse me of that because I like to use the accurate definition of words. But lineage refers to the direct line of descendants from a specific ancestor. right? So if FBA isn't like a family reunion of people who come from one specific ancestor, then it really wouldn't be, by definition, a part of a lineage, because that's referring to like a family's genealogy.
Well, yeah, I would say it is, because the ancestors that we'd be referring to would be descendants of enslaved Americans. So if your ancestors were enslaved in America, then you're FBA. That would be the lineage.
Okay, so yeah, the operative word there is that we pluralized the word when it wasn't pluralized at first. So lineage, that would be lineages. So lineage refers to an ancestor. FBA claims to be a lineage, not lineages. So that's why it would be like improper to use in that context. And just so we can show it on the screen, I don't know if we've ever seen. Hold on, why you can't come up here? All right, if y'all wanna, if I got any mods here, if y'all wanna like make sure anybody's not a troll, then y'all can go ahead and try to vet them before they come up here. Are you a troll or Juices? Are you a real person? The algorithm like to send me a lot of trolls. You there? Juice? All right.
Greetings. My mic was on mute.
Okay. I see you're not a troll now. Just hang tight for me while we go over this discussion right here. So this would be a lineage, right? This is a lineage. It starts from a ancestor, a direct line, and then proceeds downward. Excuse me for this blurriness, y'all. But so nonetheless, it's not a lineage. But let's just take it from your argument anyway, just so I don't get stuck on that part. So, but this is my pushback with the FBA, right? You said it's the descendants of chattel slavery. So they're actually, the actual claim of FBAs is that they claim that they was in America prior to colonialism. Did you know that?
Yeah, that's admittedly, I don't really subscribe to that. I have heard that before. I never really personally understood it. I don't for a second dispute that my ancestors originally were African and came to the United States through transatlantic slave trade. There are some people who say like, no, we were already here. We're the like copper melanated natives or something. I never really understood that. My whole thing, the big thing for me is just the delineation. I just feel like as Black Americans, we've been here for over 400 years and we've built a cultural identity that's separate and distinct and unique from, other groups of people. And I think that we should have a way to honor that and to, express that and to kind of own that like other groups of people do, like Jamaicans, they also arrived in Jamaica through transatlantic slave trade. But, people who, were in Jamaica, they can say, I'm Jamaican, and they have their Jamaican culture and their Jamaican flag and their Jamaican identity. And Haitians have their Haitian identity. And as Black Americans who also arrived in America the same time the Jamaicans and the Haitians and any other group of people arrived in their land, we should also be allowed to have that cultural identity. So for me, it's really more about delineation and just recognizing and, honoring our rich culture and our traditions. And it's not so much about getting into like, so much like lineage and who migrated from where. I don't really so much subscribe to all of that, but that's just my thoughts on it.
All right. So I'll focus on the delineation part, even though I do want to go over it real quick, just so you know that it is a part of it. And it'll be real brief, just so you can see. These are the tenets on the FBA official website, where they do say that Black people are aboriginal to North America and that Black people, Black explorers and traders had contact with the Americas before Columbus. This would be before colonialism. And then lastly, they reference your lineage or your ancestors. So I did want to show you that, but we can get to Yeah, I don't want to focus
Yeah,
on it though.
yeah, I have heard that, and admittedly, I don't subscribe to that personally. I'm 99.999% sure that all Black Americans came, their ancestors came to America through the transatlantic slave trade,
All
with
right, great.
very few exceptions.
All right, great. So we can focus on the delineation part. When you reference Haitians and Jamaicans, that's the name of their country that they're in. So that's essentially their nationality. When we're talking about delineating, we're talking about pretty much to describe somebody precisely, or to pretty much set a boundary on who this, in this case, an ethnicity is, right? So FBA wouldn't be an ethnicity. The ethnicity is African American. So from my studies and research, FBAs don't like that the African American name, because they like, it goes back. I hate to say this, it does go back to the pre-colonial claim, where they don't want to have any attachment with Africa, probably because of some propaganda. But nonetheless, African Americans are already delineated. You said it in yourself when you're talking about Black Americans. If you don't know, if you look up African American, the definition will be a Black American. So the distinctions is really already there. The delineation is already there, right? African American is the attachment to the heritage, to the culture, to the history, going back all the way to chattel slavery and moving forward. So the delineation literally is already there, but you have people who will say, well, Elon Musk was an African American, or since you can self-identify, Barack Obama identified as African American, they feel like anyone can appropriate an ethnicity or cosplay your ethnicity, and then they want to try to gatekeep the culture, not knowing that culture is to be shared, right? I like, speaking of Haitians or Jamaicans, a lot of African Americans love Bob Marley. They'll eat Haitian food, or date a Haitian woman. So culture is to be shared. You really can't gatekeep the culture. I just think that being that Black Americans, part of our culture isn't really unified. So when other people try to say something like Black Americans, African Americans don't have any culture, we will kind of look at that as them trying to roast us. And then FBA, from my understanding, pretty much just exists to be online as a vanguard to roast other ethnic groups or cultures. So then let's kind of get into their xenophobia. But just to specify on your talking point, the delineation is already there. These people have their own nationality. We have our own nationality. These people have their own ethnic groups. We have our own ethnic group. We are part of the same race, which is why we compare each other. But nonetheless, the delineation is literally already there in our ethnicity. And let me just land by showing you, because you said Black Americans, and I'm not sure it'll show it on here, because I normally look it up in the Webster's dictionary. But it says, hold on. So I'm just going to the definition of African American. African American is an ethnic group of Americans who possess a total or partial ancestry to Black racial groups from Africa. The term, here we go, yeah, right here, typically denotes descendants of enslaved Africans in the United States. Right? So that's what, I mean, I don't know if you want to clarify anything what I spoke on, or
Yeah, I can speak to. Yeah, I can definitely speak to a few of the points you made. I don't disagree with all of them. I think that you're definitely, saying some truths on some of them, but I think some of it's a little misguided. As far as the African claim, I think there are a lot of FBAs, including myself, who don't claim to be African or have any connection with Africa. And I think that's where a lot of that whole indigenous, native Black ancestry supposedly comes from, that I don't personally agree with. Because there's some people in the FBA community who don't want to have any claims to Africa, and so that's kind of like their way to be like, no, my ancestors weren't from Africa, they were just like really dark-skinned Native Americans or something. I do think that's part of it, but I think the thing that you're kind of missing is that African American really doesn't delineate, because anyone from Africa who gets on an airplane and comes to America and hops off the plane could be African American. It doesn't really delineate our 400 years of culture and, history that we have building America on this land. So African
You're wrong
American
on that.
Yeah,
doesn't.
You're
yeah,
definitely
he is
wrong
wrong,
on
but
that.
let's let him land.
I'm sorry, man. It's
Yeah,
just,
but yeah, I wanted to do the same thing, but let's let him land.
Oh, you can speak on that. Let's just go point by point
All right,
because
but
it's
okay,
hard to keep
perfect.
track
Mello, you
of
can
too
you can
many
respond to him,
points.
Mello.
yeah, exactly. So the point that y'all keep trying to make this delineation as though the government, are the United States government, and African Americans don't know the difference between an immigrant who has been here and who hasn't. They literally have tabs on every single immigrant from every country, whether it's from Africa, Haiti, or whatever. They don't just mush us together. That's not how the government operates. Not at all. Like y'all so weird with that.
What do you mean by the government? I'm just talking about like.
Yeah, no, you keep saying that people come over here and they can become African American. No, they cannot. That's
Yeah,
not how it works.
let me kind of
There's
clear
no
that up a little bit.
application. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, with a little bit more nuance. But like I said, when I showed you African American the first time in the definition, it said the same thing, right? A direct descendant of Africans who were enslaved in the United States, right? So what I was talking about, they have a misconception that Elon Musk is an African American, and Barack Obama, since you can self-identify, is an African American. So African American is the ethnic group. That's the delineation that people are looking for. The thought that you can come over from Africa, get citizenship in America, and now be an African American. That's a misconception. You wouldn't be an African with American citizenship, but you would be a Kenyan American. All right, you wouldn't be an African American, but we are African Americans because of what we talked about earlier. We're comprised of hundreds of tribes from West Central Sub-Saharan Africa, and also we was already established here prior to with the Berlin Conference or the Scramble for Africa, when they arbitrarily carved out these continents in West Africa. So we are just what they like to call generic Africans, just Africans in general, because these countries wasn't established at that point. But yeah, that's not true. Even though under the government records, you can self-identify. I don't know if you know that. I was just in the DPS the other day, and I checked white. I literally checked white. They're not going to say, "Hey, you can't check white." That's because you can self-identify. But yeah, that's a misconception. Um, and
So
that's
you're
it's a
saying that a
common one.
Kenyan American is an African American?
I said the opposite. I said they would be a Kenyan American, right? African American is an ethnicity. That's okay. Let me just do it in reverse. If I go to Africa and get citizenship, I don't become a Igbo. I would still be an African American, but I would have citizenship in Africa. They would essentially just be American. Their nationality would be American. Their ethnicity would not change one bit. Their racial group wouldn't change a bit. Only thing that would change is their nationality. African American is an ethnic group, not a nationality. Anyone who has citizenship in America, whether you get it through the processes or you're naturalized here, will be an American. But I'm telling you, that's why I had brought that up with Barack Obama and Elon Musk, because the whole thing starts with a misconception. It starts with Tariq Nasheed kind of really being a layman scholar, kind of echoing Claude Anderson. And Claude Anderson said, if you let Africans come over here and you lump them in with Black Americans, then they get reparations all the same. Reparations is, once again, based off those lineages you talked about, that connect us to chattel slavery and the ongoing atrocities thereafter. It's not based off of a name. It's based off of genealogical records. And well, I'm glad I brought that up real quick. And let me just land with this, because I want to show y'all something. I wanted this to be a backdrop one day, because this is my main argument. This is really what I do it for. Let me see. Is this it? This is it right here. And then I'll give y'all back the mic. When calculating, and I had the AI algorithms do this, y'all. When calculating the complete oppression experience from not only slavery, but also Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, and other systemic harms, the estimated one-time financial reparations amount is approximately 2.1 million per eligible African American descendant. Y'all, please screenshot this, because this is the reason why I feel like I get suppressed. Because of course, they could not let this happen without this country fucking imploding. But yeah, I do want to land with that, y'all. Just know this is the reason for all of the identity claims that kind of got us going back and forth. So we don't unite as a unit and force this issue. Give me my millions. Max, you can respond to that though. All right, let me.
all right.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to respond to that. So you're saying that if someone from Africa comes to America, they would not be classified as African American.
Correct.
Okay. What if they then had children in America? Like, what if two? I'm just curious. What if two?
Okay, perfect.
Like,
Let me ask you this.
African.
Let me ask you this. And it's kind of a leading question. I'm not dodging the question at all. Let's say are you married by chance? You
No,
and
I'm
your
not married.
you and your girlfriend or partner, right? You move to Thailand, right? And oh no, move to China because I'm not familiar with all of the ethnic groups in Thailand. Move to China, right? And y'all reproduce. Would your children then be Han or would they be still African American? Is that tricky?
No, it's not tricky. So basically, you're saying that the term African American is already the same as the term FBA. You're saying it already
I would say
delineates and
I
denotes.
would say it's the same as like
people.
Yoruba. African American essentially, so ethnic groups are essentially like a tribe. Our tribe name is African American. It's not Jamaican. I know we want to have a name that doesn't have American in it or doesn't have two different continents in it because, Jamaican and Haitian does. We got to understand the reason for that. Those countries don't have a hell of a lot of white influence like we did. They started shipping. You think the transatlantic slave trade was something? They shipped so many millions of Europeans over here, so many, and this is the reason for their influence. So we just can't be like one country in Africa for the reasons I explained earlier. An American is just a part of our nationality. I'm sorry, of our ethnicity. Ethnicity is the same as a tribe. It's the same as looking in Africa and talking about the Fulani, the Yoruba, the Igbo, the Akan. It's the same thing. It's a tribe.
Okay, so I just want to understand your point. So you're saying that the term African American is only applicable to Black Americans who are descendant of slaves. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. But with the exception of self-identification, you can self-identify. You're like, it's no gatekeeping on getting those papers from any government agency or any job that's going to say like you can't check that you're Hispanic. You got to put non-Hispanic. You can self-identify, but that's not just exclusive to African Americans. Like I say, it goes for Hispanics, white, etc. But let me see if I can get my and I'm sorry, Juice, for the whole. We're gonna get this on here, but let me just see if I can get the AI to kind of correlate with what I'm saying because they might word it a little better. Does an African getting citizenship in America make their ethnicity African American? No. Gaining citizenship, a U.S. citizenship, does not change a person's ethnicity. Right. While a naturalized citizen from Africa becomes a American national. Their ethnic group remains tied to their African heritage, Nigerian, Ethiopian, Somali. That's what I'm saying. So it's really, I'm going to tell you, and I promise you, it's all been based off a misconception off of our ethnicity. And understandably, because it's really like only, 45 years old, if that. All right. But let me get Juice. Hold your points if you got any more, Max. I want to get Juice in the conversation. I appreciate your patience. If you're able to speak.
You go to the next person. Yep, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate you.
All right, Juice, you there with us? What do you think about this backdrop? What do you think about the conversation so far? Please feel free to expound on it. And if you're in the comments, please feel free to come up. Y'all tap the screen. Here we got somebody who wants to talk about scripture. We can definitely jump to that topic next. Appreciate your patience, Juice. Tap in with me, brother.
Yes, peace and blessing. Well, I won't say I necessarily subscribe to any one of these titles that you have up there, but I am a Rasta man, and I think a lot of people really misunderstand or don't understand where we coming from claiming that. So do you know anything about the Kushite Empire?
Wait, can you say what's
Bro,
a
the
Rasta
Kushites,
man? Is that you just Jamaican?
No, I'm
wasn't
Jamaican.
Melchizedek as a
I'm
priest for the
debating.
Kushites?
Peace, brother. Shut up.
Okay, sorry about that.
I'm
I know they're
talking
blessed
about.
people.
I'm asking the host if he know about the Kushite Empire, how significant it is in the black, or however you want to describe yourself nowadays, as African, black, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
But as a nation of people that's been enslaved, that's scattered all around the earth, we do come from, a place where we originated from, and this is why I'm talking about, the Kushite Empire, because the Kushite Empire extend all throughout, the four corners of the earth. And, this is where we talking about the Queen Candrake meets the Israelite king and created a throne that still, is still existing today. But none of you black people or African people or Aboriginal people speak of this throne that govern all black people. All these claims right here come out of the Kushite Empire, the Moorish, which is Ephesians. If you want to talk Christianity, um, any one of
Sir.
these come out of the Kushite Empire. But why you guys don't study
One more minute.
or have no clue of the king that sit on your throne, which is the black man throne, which is the Kushite Empire?
All right. Now, I'm assuming you landed with that. Okay. So just to summarize that up, the Kushite Empire is referring to yeah, appreciate that. It's referring to the region of Nubia. This would be like modern day Sudan and southern Egypt. So this is Northeast Africa. I'm not pretty sure if y'all, and also to just expound on it, the Kushite Empire historically, it dates back to the 2500s with the Kerma phase. 3,000 years ago at most, 3,500 years ago, around 1,000 BC with the Napata phase and the Egyptian conquest, or the Moro phase, which takes us into the
All
Comet
right.
era.
You
Nonetheless, we have
mean
to understand this. Black Americans are composed of West and West Central Sub-Saharan Africans, biologically, genetically, factually, right, empirically. Um, what does this mean? Let me take you to the chronology of that. We date back to these people
we talk about
10,000
the
years
karma.
ago.
We talk about the karma. Do you know what the karma culture is? Because
Yeah, I know it's the earliest.
do you know what the karma culture is?
Yeah, that's why I brought it up, and that's why most
So
of the people.
could you explain on the karma culture and explain
Could
that
you?
Mesopotamia, Sumer, Babylonian Empire, all these parts was the origin of the karma culture, which Kush is a descendant. This was before the flood. Now, after the
Oh,
flood,
all right. Okay, hold on.
Kush,
Hold
which
on,
is
because
a
I'm
descendant
getting
of
interrupted.
Ham,
I
the
can explain.
empire
I can
stands. So
explain. I
now
can
you
explain to
talking,
you.
just reading, but you're not reading
I
and
can explain to
analyzing what
you.
you're
Okay,
reading.
okay.
But
So,
see,
so
the
the
white
reason.
T man took out the
Okay,
scriptures.
hold on. So you got because okay, hold on now. Hold
White
on now.
man.
We get it. We're losing the decorum here. So, Juice, you weren't interrupted at all. You weren't interrupted at all. So I don't know if y'all can see it right here. This is a respectful debate, and I appreciate everybody for being respectful. Max,
My
salute to
apologies,
you.
sir.
Yeah, no, you good. You good. You didn't start it. Max, I definitely appreciate your decorum and respect. Juice, let's keep that. Let's keep this momentum up so we can actually come to a consensus here. But I can explain to you why I was interrupted because I'm giving you an explanation of firstly geography and timelines and genetics. So when we talk about Black people, not just Black Americans, but also Jamaicans, also Haitians, pretty much the people in the Western Hemisphere, the Black diaspora, we derive biologically, genetically, empirically from West and West Central Sub-Saharan Africans, not Northeast Africans, right? So Rastas, they kind of subscribe to the goddamn, what's it? Haile Selassie, as some type of prophet or deity or fucking reincarnation of Jesus. Excuse my French, but yeah, he's not that, and we don't have any connection to these people ethnically. When I say we're composed of hundreds of tribes from West and West Central Africa, it's just that we're not composed of any tribes from Kush or Egypt. Right. So let me just talk about the reason why we are mentioning this story. We're mentioning this because of the biblical narrative that we have been colonized under. We have been colonized under. And then let me just do it again. Chronology, right? Timelines. Y'all can fact check me. How long have African Americans' ancestors been settled in West Africa? Please fact check me on this. It's going to show you no earlier than 10,000 years ago, 10,000 BC. It's going to show you 10,000 BC. What does this mean? Anything talking about the Kerma phase, which is, once again, like I said, 3,500 years ago, we predate that. Our ancestors predate that with them being settled in West Africa. And we have archaeological evidence of that with the Dafuna canoe. If y'all need me to spell that, just ask me or y'all can probably get it. But let me just land right
You're
here.
lying.
Let me land right here because I'm finna get interrupted again. So let me just make it quick now. So once again, we predate these regions, we predate these dynasties, we predate these conquests, we predate the biblical narrative. Theologians, these are scholars, experts that study the Bible. They date the Bible no earlier than 6,000 BC. Once again, we predate this whole narrative. We have been colonized. I don't know if y'all know what colonized means. It means that these people have taken over us politically, educationally, linguistically, and spiritually with these religions, spiritually, religiously. Our ancestors was not practicing this religion prior to being introduced to the European man. You can understand the Bible as much as you want to when you talk about the Ham, Japheth, and Shemitic tribes, but we are not attached to those peoples because, once again, that is in the Levant region, the Mesopotamia region, and the northeast regions of Africa, not the West and West Central African, Sub-Saharan African regions where we belong.
There's a major discrepancy in what you're saying.
Okay, so hold tight while let me let Juice respond. I know you got a little clout, so you probably feel like you got some superiority or priority.
You're lying though. There ain't no mounds in Africa.
Once again,
there's no mounds in Africa. You need to explain that.
We're not referencing mounds. You're the first one to bring
the
up
mound
mounds.
builders are the pyramid builders. That's where the
Okay,
ancient land.
all right. You don't get to
jump lying police officer.
Okay. Hold on, Juice.
One voice.
Yeah, he's not going to have any. He's not going to have any patience or any.
All right. What I'm trying.
You a cop.
What am I?
He's not going to respect the live, y'all.
Man,
what I'm trying to decipher here is dynasty. All right, you could say people, and we move from, you saying Yoruba, and we're West African. But from my knowledge, West African, South Africans was all controlled by, the Candrakes or the Pharaohs.
Let me ask you one question.
From the Kemetic dynasty.
Let me ask you one question.
These Kemetic dynasties was governed by Ethiopians and Egyptians, and the Candrakes, which governed all the way into Hindu Kush, India, all the way up in Asia, down to this area that the Queen Candrake governed was a vast majority of land. So you're not looking at dynasty to trace dynasty. You're tracing just people.
Exactly.
How can
that's what we're talking about. People.
Anything with just
dynasties are composed of people. Let me go over this because y'all may have missed this. Y'all may have missed this. Y'all may have missed this when I went over this earlier. Let me show y'all this. This is what in 1909 Booker T. Washington wrote about this in the story of the Negro, the rise of the race from slavery. I don't know if y'all caught this. This is over 100 years ago. It says the Negro slaves always believed that someday they would be free. From the Bible, the only book the masses of people knew anything about, they learned the story of the children of Israel and the house of bondage of 40 years of wandering in the wilderness. And they easily learned to apply this story to their own case.
But how can it be a story when the Ethiopian king is actually living it out? How can it be just a
My
story?
listen to my argument so you can push back against my argument. My argument is that black people's ancestors, our ancestors, your ancestors was in America, was in West Africa prior to anything that you are trying to associate with them.
Listen to
Can you
me, brother.
respond to that? Can you respond to that part
Yes.
directly?
All right. The black slaves in America coming out of freedom, coming out emancipation, coming out of slavery, look towards Ethiopianism as their
Okay.
liberation.
How are you
If
let me
you know
ask you a
anything about
question.
the history
Let me ask
of
you
the
a question. How are you
slave and
connecting?
Christianity, they
How are
look
you
towards
connecting?
Ethiopianism.
All right, let me ask you this question. How are you connecting black people in the Western Hemisphere to Ethiopia? How are you connecting to us to them? Is it biologically? Is it migratorily? Is it ancestrally? How are you making this connection? How are we
Are you
connected to
that ignorant to
Ethiopians?
say Ethiopians are not black people? How
How are
can
we
you be that
connected to?
ignorant? You need to
How are
go
we?
and do that research.
Are
I
you?
would
Are you?
not even waste my time
Answer.
talking to
Answer
you
this
on that
question.
such.
Answer this
Bro,
question.
Ethiopians, it says in the Bible, can the Ethiopian
All right. Once again, answer this question directly. Directly. We know that sub-Saharan Africans are black, but you got to understand this: Africa is the most genetic continent in the world, Craig. Right? We are there's over 3,000. If you did not notice, y'all, there's over 3,000 ethnic groups in Africa. Black Americans are composed of hundreds of, not just Black Americans, the Black people in the Western Hemisphere. We're composed of hundreds of them, but from the West and West Central parts of Sub-Saharan Africa, not from the Northeast parts of Saharan Africa. My question to you, Juice, is how are you connecting the Blacks of the Western Hemisphere to Ethiopians and Kemetians, Sudanese?
One, I'm connecting it through the throne of David, which said that the throne of David is the king of all the black men around the world, right? Second of all, Ethiopians of our original people from the Garden of Eden. Eastward in Eden is Ethiopia through the Gishon and the Pison where the blue and the white Nile rise run through, right? Those people migrated westward, okay, into all parts of Africa, brother. Okay? Before that, there was other people outside the Garden of Eden before the flood. Okay? There was African people, the Hittites, Amorites, Canaanites. All these people are African people. All right? We are just getting the story of the Israelite story of the Bible, but you're not studying the African ancient story like you talk about the Yoruba and the Koromanti. All these things are African rituals from African nations, not dealing with only what you know of the Davidic or the Israelite Bible story, which that Bible story has merged when the Queen of Sheba met Solomon and she governed from Saudi Arabia and took that throne all the way to Ethiopia and start that new empire. This stuff is historical facts that you could read and research. So if you don't have a conclusion,
You got 1
like
minute.
say, what is the conclusion that you talking about here? Like unifying black people. How are you unifying black people when you don't have a solid conclusion? Like, all right, we're gonna unify it around the Kushite empire, the Kushite throne, the holy throne, all right, the Ethiopian throne, the line of Judah, the king of. How are you not looking towards these things? But you are, you up here doing philosophy and but you using the AI and when for you to even break down from Sumer to Babylon, right? Talk about Nimrod and Moses meeting basically Nimrod and all this
All right, go ahead
alchemy
and
and
land
stuff
for us.
going on. You're not studying the Bible. You just reading words, bro. This stuff is a quantum physics book
Quantum
that you
physics is
playing
with
with.
different
The
type of
Bible.
equipment.
It has our story from Genesis 2nd. It tells you about Ethiopia. It tells you about the black Kushite race. How are you sitting here talking about Ethiopians not Africans. How is that?
I never
Come
said
on,
that. Okay,
brother.
so let me mute you up because I never said that, and you're lying on me because that biblical story it never gives y'all any real morals or integrity. So let me just go over what you said. Well, you thought that quantum physics had something to do with that. I just want to let y'all know quantum physics is referring to the smallest indivisible unit of energy of matter. He's not talking about nothing on subjects. They kind of like to just name drop terms when they think that I don't know, they talking like using a word that's big to them. But nonetheless, he said the throne of David. He said the Canaanites and Hittites was in Africa. The geographical locations of the throne of David, the Hittites and the Canaanites, span from different regions of the ancient Near East, primarily concentrated within modern-day Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Turkey. None of these locations are in Africa. I never said Ethiopia. Oh, am I
You
getting
know, the
interrupted
Suez
by the crash
Canal
out?
being, you know,
Go
the
ahead and
Suez
interrupt me.
Canal
Go
being
ahead
the
and
one
interrupt me
separating
because I
Africa
love when
from.
y'all interrupt me because it lets the people know who has decorum and who doesn't, who's sane and who's not. That's what I love about getting interrupted because it lets the people see that you don't have the patience for have a conversation. So you definitely didn't have the patience to do your studies. I like when the people get to see that. And I like narrating that so I can further expose you. But nonetheless, I never said that Ethiopians wasn't in Africa. You can rewind this because it will be on YouTube and you will hear Don Dada never said that. I said, how are you connecting the black people on the Western Hemisphere to Ethiopians? You did not make that claim. You did not prove that claim. You said the throne of David, which is corroborated with being in the Levant region, modern day Israel, Palestine, Jordan, Lebanon, Syria, and Turkey. So you didn't prove your claim at all.
Can I
Pretty much
speak
you're
on
just
that just real
indoctrinated.
quick?
Am I
Can I
getting
speak on
interrupted
that real
again
quick?
before I
All
land?
right. The
Am I
Suez
getting
Canal
interrupted
in
again?
1963
Am I
is what
really getting
separates.
interrupted again? Am I getting y'all? Y'all know y'all don't like people that do this. This is like when you driving on the freeway and they don't even put their blinker on and they just turn into your lane. They got me running into the median. Appreciate you for appealing that appeal, TikTok. Y'all tap the screen. We need 5K likes. Once again, you didn't prove it. What I'm trying to get you all to prove is how are we? Because this is my argument. Biologically, genetically, if you ever take a DNA test one day, let me know if you need $30. You will see that you are attached genetically, biologically to people of West and West Central Sub-Saharan Africa and not Ethiopians. Now, you luckily I don't know the story. I don't want to bring my sis up here to try to run it down because she probably respects y'all, the Rastafari heritage and all that. But nonetheless, we are not connected to Ethiopia. And I told you, there's thousands of tribes in Africa. Y'all people want to attach yourselves to the Egyptians so bad. To Ethiopians? To Ethiopians so bad. Why aren't you attaching yourself to West Africans? Prove this migratory route before you do anything. That would kind of help your argument. If you can prove that once again that those dynasties, those dynasties that only date back to 3,500 years ago, which we predate by what 4,500 years. Y'all, look, let me show you this and then I'll move on to my next guest because he's been patiently waiting. How long has and I'm gonna go a little bit DNA with y'all, so forgive me. E1, B1A, that's our haplogroup if y'all didn't know. Let me land right here, and then I'll let you respond for 1 minute before I gotta move on to my other guest who's been waiting patiently without interrupting me. How long has the E1B1A haplogroup been settled in West Africa? Yeah. I just want to see what it says right here because oh shit, I said 10,000 years ago, and it's actually 20,000 years ago. Right? So
Well,
so now you need to prove that somehow your Ethiopian connection migrated before all of this shit that you're trying to attach it to 20,000 years ago. Well, yeah, I'll give you 2 minutes, bro, because you tried to be patient that time, and then we're gonna get right to Jeremiah.
all right. First of all, you are lacking knowledge because the Suez Canal separate Northeast Africa from Africa. If you did your studies, you would have known that, brother. Come on, I don't have to tell you this. This just happened in
I
the
didn't even
60s or
mention. Did
something.
I mention the
The
Suez Canal?
Suez Canal separate Northeast Africa, Jerusalem, Iraq, all these places you're talking about that I told you the Queen Candrake sat on those dynasties, those empires up there before she brought the dynasty to Ethiopia. These are historical things you could read, bro. You know, you talking about these places is not in Africa, that shows you that you have lack of knowledge. If you don't know the Suez Canal was built to separate North Africa from Africa.
When
Now,
was it
you can
built?
debunk that.
When was
Look
it
it up
built?
right now. Look it up.
When
Look it
was it
up.
built? I don't have to look it
Look
up.
it
I
up.
know
You
it was built.
Googling everything. Look it up.
Okay, so yeah, he talked about it. It's historical. The Suez Canal is literally man-made. It's built in 1869. He's talking about it's historical. We're moving on from this because he's going to crash out like most people
It
who are. Oh, there
separated
it goes. There
Africa,
it goes.
brother.
There
You
it
don't do
goes.
your research, man,
We
before you
don't
up
get
here
no
preaching.
respect on here, do we?
I
It's
get
okay.
mad respect because you ain't debunked nothing I said.
Okay, you haven't proved any of your claims. You're just
But you
attaching
can't
yourself to the
debunk nothing
Abrahamic
I
religion.
said. You can't
Okay.
debunk that the throne of David, that it's not merged with the Queen of Sheba throne, which govern all of Africa, and
All of
the High
Africa?
Emperor Haile Selassie, I sit on
All
that
of
throne right now.
Africa?
You can't
All of
debunk. Yes,
Africa? All of
the Queen
Africa?
of Sheba rule all Africa except in Jerusalem, where King Solomon was, bro. What are you talking about?
All right, let's just do this one and
Go
we
do
move
your
on today.
research, man.
All right,
All right,
thank
have
you.
a nice day, man. Thank
He
you.
gonna run. He gonna run. He gonna run. Before you run,
I'm a run. Yeah,
yeah, just go ahead and run. Just go ahead and run.
I'm
All
a
right.
run. You can't even debunk what I'm saying. I'm a run.
Yeah, the Queen of Sheba did not rule all of Africa. Literally makes no sense.
You know how many
But
feet?
I'll let you just. I don't even want to debunk that because that makes sense to you. Let's move on to Jeremiah. Appreciate your patience,
Thank
brother
you. Have a
Jeremiah.
nice day. Rastaman crush you.
Okay, y'all can play this back on YouTube, Rasta man. Make sure you go to YouTube and listen how you crush me.
What's
All
going
right.
on, fam?
Appreciate your patience, brother.
What's your name?
Don Dada.
Jeremiah, brother. It's a pleasure, man. Especially
Pleasure.
all
I
my
appreciate your
melanated
patience.
brothers. Love all y'all. What's the topic of the debate or whatever?
So yes, this is a debate. I'm looking to push back against either people who claim FBA, people who claim black people was in America prior to colonialism, people who got the Moorish nationality claim, people who claim that black people was ancient Egyptians, HBI, IU, IC, ISUPK, these different
I'll
denominations.
put it like this though, man. Like
Okay,
this
go
is my
ahead. I ain't
belief.
done. Go ahead.
It's my belief, man. I'm just here because I like talk, but I don't have my notes in front of me. But my belief is, me personally, I like theories. I feel like stories can be told different way. We could be Martians. I don't know, but I do know that we are somebody special. And I feel like if we could put our differences aside and come together in unity, that would scare the hell out of the YT man. Because there's a reason why they kept our true knowledge of who we are from us. That's my belief. And I kind of buy into the belief of I've been studying Melchizedek in the Old Testament, and you see that there is a priesthood, and that kind of shocked me because he wasn't an Israelite, and the Kushite brother kind of sparked my interest in there. But I don't have all the answers, and I'm just here to hear the perspectives so I can grow.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate that position. All right. So yeah, I'll just summarize it up with this. You kind of had contradictions in what you said, and a lot of people do. And I've been wanting to clear this up for so long, and I'm glad you gave me the opportunity. When it comes to what a theory is, a lot of us we go into explaining what a scientific theory is because we normally have to explain the out of Africa theory to people. A theory is, check this out, it's a well substantiated. We need to look up substantiate. I should have pulled this up, but it's proven with evidence, right? Systematically organized explanation of a natural or social phenomenon that is consistently supported with a vast body of evidence. Check this out. Observation and experimentation. The contradiction that we had there is belief. Belief contradicts with the theory because theory is evidence, observation, and experiment.
Yes,
Is a
sir.
belief. A belief is faith. A belief is trust. A belief is confidence in either a story or what somebody else told you, opposed to observation, which makes it objective, which makes theories objective.
Sir.
Right.
So you're
So
saying, with all respect, that a theory has to be proven, correct?
not all the time. Not all the time.
Because I mean, I could say I could prove my theory that Africans are the indigenous as a strong theory, because there's a reason why when the YT man came here, they said we were all living in teepees. There's a reason why every country you go to, you see the Moorish kufi on the flag. So, like, I don't have all the answers, but I know good and well that the
especially
white
from
team
most
man
of
did not
Europe.
get to America before we did. The black man. There's no way. There's no way that could have happened. No
Okay, so
way.
just to go with the definition of theory once again, well substantiated, vast body of evidence. What single
My theory is anything that the white man says, believe the opposite.
belief again
But worry,
belief?
like what?
Hold on, Aizen, because I'm gonna let you talk
Like
I'm gonna let you
Ben
talk without being
Sebarka was the
interrupted next.
first one in the states.
I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you speak separately without being interrupted, Aizen. Just give me a second. We're doing 1v1, well, like one at a time right here, just so we can have a conversation. But yeah, after this or after all the guests come up
Hey,
and we
I just want to say too, man. You are cooking me on the debate, man. I respect it, and I'm taking the knowledge, man. No pride on
no,
my
it's
end,
not.
brother. It's all love.
It's not about being cooked. If somebody comes up on here with humility, trust me, it's not even a debate. This is just like really to antagonize people just so we can have conversation. This is not a debate. I'm not looking to get any points. I'm not looking to cook or grill anybody unless you kind of
Yes,
got like,
sir.
unless somebody got like an ego where they need that. But
Yes,
you're
sir.
a respectful gentleman, so I'm gonna give you the same respect back.
I'm just here for growth.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. So when it comes to the theory, what evidence, or I like to ask people, what's the most convincing body of evidence that they have to substantiate that black people was in America prior to colonialism? Please, you cannot say that whatever the European man says to say it, to say the opposite. Because if that's the case, we need to find another language to speak right now. And the reason why is because our whole being colonized, right? I don't know if we fully understand what it means. Our whole mindset has been brainwashed, right? Everything that we learn it through their lens because we're learning it through their tongue, unless we speak another language. So, what body of evidence do you have to substantiate that black people was here prior to the colonial, pre-Columbus?
You know what I'm gonna say, bro. I'm gonna say the typical, man. I'll start bringing up all the
Oh man,
stuff that you've heard, the typical debate. But like I said, man, like,
what's the most convincing thing then? So I want to let's just tackle it.
come on. I mean, I would say
Is it
that
the Moorish
the
statue?
artistic of the structures, the fact that they kept the history from us, man, they don't ever teach
Hey,
about one of the.
hold on. How did they keep the history from you if you know the history?
They ain't teach us in school about the monk mound.
So
That
school,
thing is amazing. Who built
so
it?
whatever they didn't teach you in school, they hid from you.
Why would the white man hide the stuff about the Grand Canyon and say it's conspiracy theories, but they got military there? Everybody said
Listen.
at one time I was silly because of the UFO stuff, and now they're saying, oh, aliens are real.
I'm positive that everything you bring up, whether it's the Grand Canyon, the Monk Mount, or the next three different topics you choose to bring up, I'm positive it's a man of European descent that brought it to you firstly before anyone of African descent.
But listen, though, I'll say this though: we had the smartest scientists and engineers in Egypt. Okay, you mean to tell me them jokers couldn't figure out if we get some helium and we get some strong material that we could make an air blimp? I'm pretty sure they had flight, but you know, stories get like misconstrued, they get erased, history get erased. We came into this world with amnesia, so I'm not going to pretend like I have the answers because I don't. But I mean, that's just
The
using my
lawyer,
imagination and my theories.
a
Me
traveler,
personally, I think we found a way to get here.
yeah.
Whether it
I
was the
mean,
land
look,
cracking and stretching out, the continent theory, or you know, our people build boats. The Egyptians were master boat builders. But that's just me personally.
Egyptians
I
ain't
mean,
first.
yeah.
Okay, firstly, and this is why I say I don't want to interrupt you. It's never that. It's just like when
No, you're good.
you bring up topics and you bring up a lot of evidence at once. So I'll just say what you said. Firstly, it really kind of discouraged me because you said we feel like we are somebody special. I'm gonna tell you, and you know this is no disrespect to you or anybody else. We ain't shit. We ain't a bitch ass thing. We in last place, and that make people
Yeah.
mad. But I really
No,
say
no,
that
I agree with you,
I
man.
say
We
that
are
to
shit,
encourage
man.
us.
Shit is very, very, very rich in minerals.
Okay,
Shit
wait.
brings
Okay.
life.
Hold on,
You
okay. I wasn't meaning to do that, but nonetheless, I found out who popularized the discovery of the Monk Mound because it's not it was already here, so we can't say that somebody discovered it. It was here 1,000 years before the Europeans got here. But it says a lawyer traveler named Henry Marie Brackenridge. Brackenridge. That's a hospital in Travis County. is credited with bringing the mound to attention. Right? So I bet if I look up this person's face, if they even got it on here, it's not going to be one of us. That's why I say anything that we
Why do you
bring
think we're
up.
not special?
Why do you think we're special? What have we done that's special?
What have we done? We've built language.
What
We've
language?
met.
We're speaking English. This comes from the Anglos.
Are
This
you
is
sure it
different.
didn't come from the Moors though?
Okay. So who are the
Oh,
Moors?
hell no. English doesn't come from the Moors, even close to.
Who are the
No,
Moors? Okay,
The
even
Moorish.
worse.
hold on. Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna land it with him for a few more.
I like the Moorish, but like no. English is a
Hold on, Aizen.
Germanic
Let me do it like
language.
this. Let me take it
Yeah,
step by step.
wait. But
And just for fact, I mean, I don't really believe this stuff, but I'm just going based off of
No.
theories.
Okay,
So my theory would be if we went with the
You ever
Yakub
heard of
story,
etymology?
yeah.
Okay, so etymology is what?
So basically, you had the YT man that lived in
Okay,
the Caucasus Mountains.
no.
The Moorish went to
Etymology is the true meaning of the word. Do you know what genealogy is?
yeah. Moors mean Mars, dark skin.
No. Okay, let me take you here. So genealogy or etymology is in essence the genealogy of a word. It takes you back to the origin of the word. If you don't know, languages, especially the English language, didn't always exist. It's kind of like when people get to talking about Jesus and they say the letter J is only 500 years old. This is because the English language progressed. And I can take you through the whole progression if you want to go all the way to Sanskrit, to Semitic script, to Latin, to Greek, to Germanic, to ultimately the Anglos. But English etymologically comes from the Anglos. The Anglos is a Germanic tribe, right? So we don't come up with this language, and neither does the Moors. But nonetheless, the Moors are, if anybody was to be intellectually honest and look this up with me, the Moors are North African Muslim Berbers. Right? It's not an ethnic group. It's not a racial group. It's not a nationality. It's Muslim Berbers, and we already know just by knowing that they're Muslims that we can't trace them back any further to.
And like I said, my theories, I feel like they're leading me on the right path. They may not be 100% accurate, but there's a reason why God said that the Ishmaelites are a blessed people. These niggas are acting like they have more common sense than the so-called, I don't want to say that word, with the war going on. There's too much pushback. Them people rule the world. I don't want no smoke.
Yeah, we know you're talking
But
about.
yeah, I don't even care about the smoke. I'm 40, man. I've been lived too long. But like I said, man, I believe that we're a special people. That's my thesis. And I believe that all these folks do is lie. Man, like I've worked jobs. They lie. They lie about everything, man. We lie about stuff that's important, like cheating. We'll lie about cheating, but we'll eventually tell the truth. We lie if we're in front of a judge. But simple
your
stuff we're not going to lie about.
Your methodology is whatever they say, don't trust it because they lied about it. And
they colonized us. Not only did they colonize, it's a known fact that they burnt all the books in Timbuktu.
Because from my understanding, that's why niggas be lying so much. That's why niggas is so disingenuous. That's why niggas is disunited, because they colonized us. We wasn't like that on the continent. We wasn't an individualistic people. We was a communal people.
Hell no.
All right, let me let Aizen go ahead and speak because
thank you so much for the time. So I really appreciate it.
We'll get back to it. It's just somebody want to speak and they can't. Well, go ahead. I'll give you time, brother.
Okay.
Go ahead. You got 3 minutes.
Okay, brother. Like thanks. Like I have so much to say. Yes, because like you put me on the spot. I don't even know like where to begin, right? But like, let me just like say to you like something short, right? Like I'm from Kenya, East Africa, right? But I was born in Sweden. So I do understand like when it comes like to racism because I've lived with white people, right? And like the one of the most things that I hate the most is like once I see like the disunity like between groups, you have like the African Americans that hate Africans, then you have like some Africans that hate African Americans. But in the totality, what I can see, because I've been to the States, I enjoyed my visit in the States to talk to other obvious like black people, right? Like like my mom always taught me to love yourself, right? So like anything that I can see that resembles myself, that's the thing that I love the most. So that despite for wherever you come from, it doesn't matter like if you're Jamaican or West African, let's say like from Ghana, Ethiopia or the States, Canada, as long as it's like black people, like for me, that's my family. Right? That's my family because like I still understand like all of us. It ain't like one of us are doing better than the other. Like we all are in the same boat in the bottom in the hierarchy of life, right? And until we can get our shit together and like started like to hard part like to trust one another, like we can't achieve anything unless like we have some sort of like mutual, not respect but more like trust to like you're gonna do the right thing. Like if I come to you with my money, right, and we have agreed upon, then if you can't do with that, but then I know like we have some institution that will make sure like justice prevail. But like right now, it just seems like our division is comes more and more and more like in today's society. It just seems that
30
it's so
seconds.
much ignorant people. It seems like it's so many like ignorant people that speak in so much hate within all groups that like the black people or African people like can never ever like unite as a whole. And like one of the best people that I loved the most was Malcolm X. It's because like he was a revolutionary, right? He even like came back to Kenya, like came to Africa, like to try to have a unity within like Kenya and African American. But
Go
at
ahead and
any
land this for
time,
us.
then wait, like at any time in the UN conference, they always wanted to separate the African delegation and the American representative. They always like try to have a division. White people, as always, right? So they can never like
All right, that's
communicate.
time. That's
So the
time, brother. Go ahead
Africans
and
in the
land it for us.
1950s, so the Africans in the 1950s, they had no clue what was going on in the States. Even Europe didn't even have a clue how bad the American whites was treating African Americans.
All right, your time is up. Your time is up. You got to learn how to watch the clock and be more precise with your time. All right, so I do agree with some of your talking points as far as the identity and us not being able to unite. That's kind of the reason why I have my platform is because we only one racial group. At the end of the day, one race, black people, sub-Saharan Africans, and that's it, right? We're not Moors. We're not Pretendians. We're not FBAs. We're not Egyptians. We're not Rastas. We're not none. We're black people, black sub-Saharan Africa. We're not any of the racial groups in the Sahara, right? We're not any one of the racial groups or ethnic groups in the story where the Bible takes place. We're not. Finish that so we can unite. Go ahead and get over yourselves. And that's the reason why people want to be something special. I think I showed y'all this. This was so interesting to me when I seen this book, and Pseudo actually showed me this book.
We
When they
are like
said,
like
we're not. No,
we
no,
are
we're not. We're not. We're
specifically
not special. We're not special. Humans are just organisms. We're not special in one bit.
not
We got to
not
stop doing that.
not no like not special, but I'm still like
Pink
like
Panther.
not
Pink Panther. Hold
special,
on. Hold on.
not
Pink Panther. Are
special.
you a real
But
person or are
Egyptian
you a
and
troll?
Nubians, you can't separate like
Am I a
culture
what?
continually has spread down as it always does, right? It's like even like culturally still, if we just gonna practice ancient Egypt, we still have a country's lineage to certain tribes that still practice the same dances, the same depiction as they used to do 5,000 years ago, right?
Okay.
It's
Hold
like
on. Hold on. Hold
anything
on. Because you
within the
still not
African
saying
border.
nothing. You're not saying nothing. Is anybody think he's saying something real quick? Because I don't want to be like, is he saying something, chat?
Yeah, I
Or is he
think
just
kind
yapping?
of talking. No disrespect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you kind of yapping, brother. So yeah, once again, understand what I'm saying. We're not special, bro. This is what I think about the colonization. You know, Europeans think they special. You know, when the white T-man came over here, y'all know what manifest destiny is. Y'all know what the white T-man's burden is. They thought they was special, and I think that sometimes we try to like counter like them by being them and just put it in blackface. That's actually why people claim to be the Hoteps, is because Europeans, after they got control of the French, after they got control of Egypt from the Islam or Muslims for so long, they was like, look at all this lit shit in Africa. We can't say that Africa just wasn't shit now because look at this. This is dope. And then black people, sub-Saharan Africans, tried to connect it to them just because it was part of Africa, not knowing there's thousands of ethnicities in Africa. Africa wouldn't even be Africa if it wasn't for these Europeans arbitrarily carving out. The world has no. The
That's what I'm
world
trying to
has
tell you.
no
That's what I'm
borders.
trying to tell you. Like ancient Kemet, we still practice certain tribes still practice like the
I'm trying to tell
same
you, ancient
type of
Kemet don't
culture
matter.
lineage that has been passed down. Certain tribes, like in Kenya, we don't, but we still have the Red Sea overhead. We still have like certain aspects
What?
of
Okay,
our head. But
I don't
then
see.
you
I
have
don't
like
see. I don't really. It's
the
really
one
hard for me to
this
get
that
your
has the
talking
cow
points.
dance. Wait. That has the cow dance that the ancient Egyptians are the most proud
You said
of
the cow
to have.
dance.
The Tutsi, yeah, the Tutsi and the Hutsi, yeah, the cow dance. Yes, because like the cow has.
All right, I'm just going ahead and drop you because you know, I don't know. To me, you wasn't making any sense, brother.
He was all
Brother
over the
Brittany.
place, man.
Yeah, I'm sorry, y'all. Everybody else, y'all, at least y'all stayed on subject, so I appreciate y'all. But I think he was a little bit everywhere for me, at least, or maybe my patience is running thin. Brother Brittany, tap in with us, man. What have you heard so far? You want to tap in this conversation, man? Peace, bro.
Yeah, peace, man. Yeah, just listening in and hearing the young brothers. You know, a lot of this Moorish stuff is just out of hand, man. They don't realize what they're saying when they talk about this Moorish stuff, man. You know, when back in the day when Kunta Kinte, you know, when he went in and said Allah when he was praying, these people lost their everlasting mind because they heard Allah. They heard some Arabic and they done lost their fucking minds. This Moorish shit ain't got nothing to do with us, man. This Egyptian shit ain't got nothing to do with us. It ain't got nothing to do with West African people. So they need to just stop trying to be. They want to feel special. So when they hear these things about the Moorish Empire ruling the Iberian Peninsula, they want to feel special. Just like with the Egyptian stuff, man. Let that stuff go. Learn your history. These people are distant relatives. They're not us. They're not black people in America. They ain't got nothing to do with black people in America or West Africans. They didn't travel across the desert and set up new shop like it was an unbroken lineage. Everybody got a misconception about what happened in the past and what was going on. When we were in West Africa, the Egyptians were in East Africa doing their own damn thing. These two people they are exclusive. They're different. So Jeremiah, I know you want to believe that, and you got your theories, but your theories aren't based on fact. It's not scientific theory. It's a belief and a want. And you got to ask yourself, why do you want to be that so much? What is it about Egyptian culture that makes you want to be that so much? That's what's up, man. I land.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about him when it be special. Go ahead, Mello.
Nah, I was asking, do y'all remember about 10 years ago all the Mr. Imhotep stuff?
Yeah, boy.
What
That's
was it?
basically that's basically what he was repeating because the Mr. Imhotep stuff, he used to show all these connections, cultural connection stuff between the Egyptians and West Africans. Like he would show clothes, he would show the cows, he would show all that stuff, like the beating of grains, and you know, just anything that they could point to and be like, look, here, see, we them same people. That was real, especially around when that Cleopatra Netflix documentary came out. He was real popular back then. But again, all his shit was basically based on lookership, and he did have some actual stuff from scholars and stuff. But you know, the niggas wasn't reading that. They was just with the lookership. That's the easiest way to go about it. But and it's just gonna keep happening, man. It's out on the internet. We just got to keep debunking it because that's exactly what he was repeating. I don't know if you can find his stuff. He used to have a whole website, Mr. Imhotep.
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't really remember him, but let me look him up real quick. But yeah, just in short, like yeah, as far as when it comes to the evidence, are black people indigenous to America? There's no evidence, not a single piece, not any archaeological evidence, not any biological evidence, no genetic data. There's no linguistic connection. There's no pottery. Yeah, there's literally zero pieces of evidence to prove that we was in America pre-colonial. That should not bother you. Plausible. Okay, maybe. Evidence, none. There's no evidence that black people was Moors. Well, I'm sorry. Let me take that back. There was a small percentage of sub-Saharan Africans that was Moors, but that's not a flex. They was likely enslaved. They was likely enslaved. So when it comes to this, is what people like to do because I heard it mentioned shortly. They like to conflate the etymology of the Moors, which will take you back to I think it was the Greek or Latin morus. I know it was the Greek word, but moros, that meant black. Now let me tell you why this is disingenuous to say. Black as a racial group wasn't coined until mid-century. Black as a racial group wasn't coined into the mid-century. Prior to that, y'all know it was a Negro, color, freeman, all this, etc. Now, when it comes to Negro, this is the Portuguese. This is the Portuguese and the Spanish using this word Negro, right? And it does mean black, but it's not synonymous with a whole different era, a whole different region word, right? When we're talking about this Latin and Greek origin. And once again, Moore was talking about North African Muslim Berbers, right? This term was used to describe the ruling Muslim population of the Arabs and the Amazigh. That was their descent. Majority of them was Arab and Amazigh, or Amazigh, however y'all pronounce it. So I know, and even when we talk about this, it's very disingenuous. It's very lame with the scholarship because the only reason black people even talk about the Moors is because Timothy Drew, or y'all probably know about Prophet Noble Drew Ali, decided to get a grift. A grift is when you hustle on people that's credulous. Who was he hustling on? The black people that was coming from the South in the Great Migration. He was already a child entertainer. He was in the circus, so he got a lot of game before a lot of people did. They coming up from the South, they don't know nothing but Christianity. He teaching them a whole different doctrine. He's grifting. A membership costed $1. He was healing people. He was getting rid of people with tuberculosis. But why did he die from the same thing? Because he was a grifter. Because he was selling you snake oil. He was eating glass and bending bars and marble balls. Right. So this is where we get this term from. And he wasn't talking about North African Muslim Berbers. He was talking about Moabites. He shortened Moor to mean Moabite. Moabite is once again in a whole different region, in the Levant region, over there by Jordan and shit. And then it's an ancestral lineage. If y'all want to be Bible thumper so bad, then y'all should know the story of Moab and Ammon. This was created by Lot when his wife passed. When she looked back, turned to a pillar of salt, and he went in the mountains and made it with his daughters. And then y'all connected to the nationality of Morocco. None of these words have any linguistic connections, no historical connection, no chronological connections. It's just all hearsay. And this is the thing that I don't like about us. We hear a grifter who got a nice voice, who's charismatic, who's theatrical and romanticizes everything, makes you feel special, right? Gives you that Holly Berry scholarship, tells you something that makes you feel good, and you subscribe to it when you're too lazy to do your own due diligence, cross-reference these things. Oh, so Haile Selassie saved us. It makes me feel good. We got some type of connection to the Savior, to the Davidic lineage. You don't. You're not Israelite. You're not a Moor. You're not an Egyptian. You are a descendant of a slave. Oh, okay.
And that's what they got to
Moor,
be comfortable with.
a
And guess
Moor
what?
is
Ain't
an
nothing wrong with that.
Ephesian. A Moor is an Ephesian. Do you know what Ephesian is?
A Moor is a
A Moor,
North African Berber
no,
mixture with
they
look. They were
come from
Arab. They
the
were Berbers.
Ephesians. They
And guess
come
what?
from,
As soon as you
look it
make
The
a
up,
claim, as soon as
descendants
look
you
it
make a
up.
of said
claim, look,
They
Moors are
come
still
from
there.
the Ephesians.
hold on,
No,
hold
it
on, hold
don't.
on, Brandon. Hold on, Brandon, because I want to let him talk. But every time you talk, I want to let you know this is what I'm going to do to you. I'm going to put your claim in AI overview where it's going to scan the whole website and summarize the answer for me. No. No. Is a more an Ephesian? No. The terms are not related. A more historically an ethnic religion term, North African Muslims. Ain't this what I've been saying?
Bro,
And
Google
an
this stuff.
Ephesians, hold
Google
on,
it.
don't interrupt me. An Ephesians inhabits an ancient Greek city of Ephesus. Now go ahead and correct your fuck up.
Bro,
Make it sound
you
good.
don't, the Moors are originally Ephesians who are originally Cushites. This is what you're not knowing. All right.
Man,
They went
y'all
into
niggas with this
integrate.
biblical bullshit. Y'all stay on this
Biblical
biblical
bullshit is
bullshit.
history, brother.
Man, that
You
shit is
don't.
trash.
No,
That shit is
the
fucking
terms
trash.
are two distinct groups again.
Yo, take him off the
Kushite
line
is
talking
the
about biblical
civilization of
bullshit. Take
Nubia,
him off the
located
line,
in
man.
present-day
He's a
Sudan and
bum.
southern Egypt. The Moors, medieval. Once again, I say, y'all have these anachronisms every time y'all speak. Your timelines, this is what's going to be messed up with them. The when and the where. You're in two different places in two different timelines. These people have no connections, and I pray, I beg, I implore you to find one piece of evidence that corroborates your nonsense. If you do that for me, I will give you the big screen and let you elaborate on it for 5 minutes, but you can't because you're freestyling out of your Jamaican bumper clock. Look at the ancestors.
Now check this out. Google it. Stop looking at that AI bullshit. Google
Yeah.
it.
You know,
Do
So
you not know
AI is
that AI
bullshit.
bullshit?
So
That's that
listen,
AI is
AI.
bullshit.
Google. Go on Google
listen.
and Google it. You want some AI chat GPT. That
There's no,
that's so young. Yo, that chat GPT is so young.
well,
Bro,
where's your,
he's on
listen,
Google. He just Googled it.
listen, just offer me your evidence because
You're not
there's
reading.
nothing online that I'm going to be able to find that's going to even have Moors and Cushites and Ephesians together. There's nothing that's going to say that. If I go, where do you want me to go? Do you want me to go to Britannica? You want me to go to Wikipedia?
Let me tell you, look at a book called From Timbuktu, From
It's
Babylon to
from Ma.
Timbuktu, and
Yeah,
see
we
if
know
you
that.
won't
We know
find
that shit.
see if
We
you
know
won't
that shit
find it
already.
there.
We
You
know
looking
that
at some
shit.
white man history, bro.
So
Some
so
nigga
so
talking AI
because
bullshit. Come
it's
on, man.
You're not
associated
Look
with
at
dealing with
white
any
read
black
people,
books.
white
history.
I
teachers.
read books. You
Now it's
don't read
bullshit.
books.
All
Because
right.
Look
it's
at From
associated with
Babylon
white
to
people.
Timbuktu and see if
It's
you
some
won't
bullshit.
see the
Okay, give
Moors
me your
are
book.
Ephesians, brother.
Are you talking about from
What's wrong with
Babylon to
you,
Timbuktu? What
man?
book are you talking about?
From Babylon to
That's what he talking about.
Timbuktu.
He
Maybe you
talking
need
Are
to
about
you
that
read
talking
that
about
book.
pseudo
Rudolph?
that
You talking
pseudo
about Rudolph
bullshit.
You
Winslow,
need
the
to
same
read that
pseudo
book,
book that we
and then
all
you'll
familiar with?
realize the history of Africa.
You're
Y'all
not telling
talking
me
too
nothing
loose,
new.
man. Y'all don't know nothing about the origin of Africa, bro. Come on.
Yeah,
Bruh,
I
That
do.
karma culture
read
that we
that.
talking
Read that
about,
book. I
that
read
Okay.
karma
that book
culture
years
that we
ago.
talking about.
All
Look,
right, hold
look.
on, because we arguing. Let's we got a new guest on here. Let's break up some of the monotony. I think this is a friendly right here though. I'm on the heretic. Appreciate you coming up. So we having debates on all these identity and claims right here. The FBA, indigenous, Moorish, ancient Egyptian, BHI, all these conversations. Go ahead and just break up some of the monotony for us and just expound on this subject for us, please. I'll give you a couple minutes.
All right, thank you, thank you. So probably don't got that much to say. The FBA claims is kind of bullshit. Um, Especially like it's just kind of they kind of like to homogenize African Americans or just black people in this whole lineage, even though it's not even correct because a lineage is from a direct line, and we come from like hundreds of different ethnic groups.
I told you.
Indigenous claims false because we come from Africa. Moorish identity claims it was very dubious in the beginning because that was like the only people that they knew at the time, and like Dondada said, they were the what were they called? Moorish Science Temple connected it to the Moabites, which I almost forgot. So yeah, I relearned that. Ancient Egyptian claims also false because we're from West Africa. Hebrew Israelite claims, I don't even touch that because of my aversion to the Abrahamic religion. So that's probably why I never fell into that in the first place. Deism versus naturalism, I'm not going to address that because not my strong suit. Evolution versus creation, very, very pro evolution. Nationality versus ethnicity, I don't care about that because I'm technically bi ethnic, but
Mm.
that's some whole other shit. But yeah, I mainly agree with the current historical basis. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why AI overview is so biased to my argument every time. It's such bullshit to the pseudos and the anti-intellectuals, but it's always giving me favor. Is Rudolph R. Windsor a reputable scholar? I don't put nothing in here to be biased. I'll show you what I'm putting in the prompt. It says no. No, Rudolph, he's not considered a reputable scholar within mainstream academic, historical, or anthropological fields. But yet the pseudos love him. They love him. From
Man,
Babylon to Timbuktu.
bruh, they catching up from shit that we had back in the 70s, 60s, and the 70s over here. He's still trying to catch up. You reading Rudolph Windsor, Dr. Yosef Ben Yakanin, all those pseudo scholars, man. Some of them had doctorates, but yeah, they freestyle a lot of that shit. Straight up. They wanted to make a connection so bad because they felt some strong aversion. Well, they liked the Christianity, they liked the biblical shit because of what? Because of their slave master. That's why you want to be an Egyptian so much. That's why you want to be from the tribe of David so much. It's because your slave master, they put that shit in you. That's it. It ain't no other reason, bro. You not from the tribe of David. Rastafari got that shit mixed up. Bob Marley loved his music, but he was way off with the religion shit, bro. Haile
Rastafari and Haile
Selassie,
Selassie,
Haile
brother.
Selassie
Go
was
and
just a
find me
regular
someone
fucking man.
greater than
He
him.
was a
You are
regular
idiot.
fucking
Go read a
man.
book. Go read a book, brother. You're very lacking.
He
Go read a
was a
book.
regular fucking man. He was a regular fucking man that, guess what? He ate shit and did the same thing you fucking
That's
do. And
because
guess
we
what?
read a book.
He's fucking ashes. He's dirt right now. He's dirt right now, and you still
Can you be
worshiping.
king of
You still worshiping some ashes, bro. You
Let me
still
king
see.
of
That's my
kings?
shit. Like, I don't
Can
get
you be king
Brittany.
of
I don't
kings?
get how you try to
He
deify
said,
a
"You be
man, right?
King of Kings."
I can see if Emperor Haile Selassie like protected Ethiopia and the entire Africa
Go do your
from all the
research and shut up.
colonizers. No, from all the colonizers from now until day on. But from what I could tell,
Go read a
Africa
book.
Africa is still affected by these white T people, right? It's still shit going on
You know what the
inside of Africa.
OAU is?
That
What
your
is the
deity
OAU?
seems to
What is
not
the
give a
Hey,
fuck.
Mello.
OAU?
Your
What
Hey,
is the
Mello.
deity
OAU?
don't
Hey,
Tell me
check
what
it
is
care.
the
out, Mello.
OAU? Tell me what is the
So
OAU? You don't know what
check it
the
out,
OAU.
Mello. So this dude don't know what he's talking about. So your people in Ethiopia right now, who was up under Haile Selassie, the descendants of those Ethiopians right now, a lot of them don't claim to be black Africans. So you up here worshiping a
Let me
fucking
talk, man.
you up here worshiping
You worshiping
a fake deity that ate shit and slept just like you do. And guess what? You just a follower. You's a follower. Just accept it, bro. You a
all you gotta
follower.
say. So let me say what I
You
gotta
a
say then.
follower.
You talking
Go
myth.
ahead.
You
Go ahead.
talking
What you
you
gonna say?
talking foolishness and
Explain
feelings. You
explain
don't
how
have one
Haile
I'll
shot
mute
Selassie
up.
saved
of what you
Jamaica.
talking about.
That's what I want to
Emperor
hear.
Haile
Explain
Selassie
how Haile Selassie
decolonized Africa, brother.
saving Jamaica.
Emperor
Explain that
Haile
shit to me.
Selassie decolonized Africa. Which other
He
Africans
didn't
did
do
that?
No, he
shit.
didn't.
He didn't
No,
Which
he
other
do
didn't.
African
Okay,
did
can
that?
I
shit.
ask a question? Can
Which
I ask
other
him a
African
question?
did
He
that?
went up
Y'all
against.
Can I
He
talking
went
ask
up
him a
feelings,
against.
bro.
Look.
Can
Y'all
I
He
don't
went
ask
know
him
up
a question,
nothing
against
about the
one
Breton?
set of
emperor.
Breton, let me
Europeans.
ask a
Nothing about the
question.
He
emperor.
No,
went
no,
up
can I ask him a
against.
Any
question? Can
other
I ask
Look.
him a question? Can I ask
He
him a
went up
question?
against
Like
one
the
set of
reason why,
Europeans.
again, can you tell me how Ethiopia defeated the Italians? How and with whose help did the Ethiopians use in order to defeat the Italians?
First of all, Haile Selassie went to
Was
the League
it
of
wait
Nations
wait wait wait
because
wait wait
he
wait
was a member.
let me
He was
rephrase
a
it. Let me
member
wait
of the
real quick.
League of
Somebody mute him
Nations.
up. Somebody mute him up. Can I ask? Let me ask it this way: did the Ethiopian army itself defeat the Italians? Yes or no?
It seems like you're very illiterate. When you're talking about strategic war, why are you talking about just a army, a single army, when they have allies for different strategic moves?
Right.
Like one of the different, bro, let me talk. You
Here's
asked me a question. You
wait.
asked me a
Here's your
question. Let me
statement though.
talk.
Somebody mute
You
him up,
asked me a
y'all. Please.
question.
I
Let
don't
me
want to have to
answer.
switch out my page. Okay, so again, you just said Ethiopia decolonized Africa. So I'm asking, did Ethiopia alone, by itself, with its own people, its own army,
its own everything, military, navy. Did it defeat Italy by itself? Yes or no, sir?
Yes, because you want to be ignorant and you want to be stupid. So
And you're
yes.
lying. And you're lying.
Juice.
You're
All the
lying.
ignorant stuff you said on here, nobody has called you no names. You know why? Because
Oh,
you
so
are
let me
one, and you the one who got to project. Hold on, let me just read this for you real quick, and I'll let you respond to this because this has been my argument the whole time. And once again, AI is biased to it. So this is what I asked because this was my talking point since he came up on here with the roster stuff. Are Western Hemisphere? Don't forget my word. Y'all ain't gonna like it, but are we connected to the Ethiopians? The connection between the black population in the Western Hemisphere, such as African Americans and you, the Afro-Caribbeans, and Ethiopians, is primarily cultural, historical, spiritual, rather than a direct genetic. So look, this is the connection that you have. You have a spiritual connection, which is hold on. I got you, brother. I know you're going to talk. Let me just Okay, I'm gonna make it quick then. I'm gonna make it quick because you can't wait. You don't have any patience. This is the connection that you have. It's not genetic because we are not these people. These people are not our ancestors. But let me just go to this part and you can start the yapping along. Geographic roots, genome-wide studies show that African Americans and Afro-Caribbeans, that's you, trace over 70 to 90%. Listen to this part. 70 to 90% of their African ancestry to West and West Central Africa, which is modern day Nigeria, Ghana, Senegal, Angola, and the Congo. This is a direct result of where the European powers built trading posts during the transatlantic slave trade. It's a distinct gene pool from the Ethiopians who belong to East Africa. You trying to make West Side 40s in the boogie down Bronx right now. You in Jamaica, you probably don't get that one, but population who speak Afro, this is a whole totally different cultures, brother. And you trying to take a people who are 80% genetic West African, you're trying to tie them to Ethiopians who are East African. You are fully delusional and you're caught up in spiritual psychosis, so you're never going to come to consensus with us because you are fried to a fricassee. Now go ahead and yap so you can prove that to the chat. Tap the screen, y'all.
It's funny you say the boogie down because I do live in the Bronx from over 35 years, maybe more than longer than you was
I'm
on
cold
this
like
earth.
that.
So yeah, but my wife is pretty young, so it's all good. But anyway, first of all,
How young is young? What you talking about?
anyway, you don't have to get into that, brother. My wife is pretty
You should not
young,
have
Yo,
said
yo,
so
that.
yo,
You
yo,
should
he
not
been
have
on
said
that
that.
biblical
You
shit.
should
He's
not
been
have
He
said
on
that.
that
philosophy.
biblical shit
but
when it
no,
come to young girls.
he said some little smart shit about the Bronx boogie down. I probably won't get that, but I was around with KRS-One when he was homeless in a shelter. You won't know about that, brother. All right, I went to school on
Hey,
Fordham Road with
we can
all
talk
black
about hip
people.
hop another day, but
All
now we
right.
need to get your ideology correct.
Chris is pseudo too.
What was
Come
the
up,
question
Chris.
that you asked? What was the question that you asked again?
Oh, I'm glad you did that. So the question that I asked is, are the Western Hemisphere black populations connected to Ethiopians? And it said we are 70 to 80% connected to West African ancestry, right? And we're not, look, 70 to 90%, we are connected to West Africa. You have a spiritual connection, being that you're a Rastafari, you're Jamaican, to the Rastafari bullshit. But it's distinct right here. Distinct gene pool. Ethiopians belong to East African population who speak Afro-Asiatic, Semitic, Cushitic, Ometic, Nilo-Saharan languages. We don't speak the Nilo-Saharan language. West Africans are Niger-Congo languages. Genetically, Ethiopians have a unique evolutionary history that includes indigenous East African lineages, which is mixed with early and the Middle East and the Levant region. It's distinct gene pools. It's gonna tell you more. The mantle expansion. But listen, brother, let me just be frank with you. Now let me not. Just respond to that, man.
You said Ethiopian. We talking about Kushite, okay? So when you talking about Ethiopia and you're looking up you
I'll
talking
do
about
Kush. I'll do
Kushite.
Kush next.
When we talk
I'll do
about
Kush right
Kushite and
now.
you're looking up Ethiopia, you're already doing a disingenuine thing right
All
there.
right. Well,
You're
hold
doing
on.
the AI bullshit.
Hold
Second of
on.
all, my
Kushites
moms,
ain't
right?
West
Well, second
African.
of all, second of all,
Hold on, I gotta start over then. No. Now we got Kushite in the bullshit. No. Black populations of the Western Hemisphere, African Americans, Afro Caribbeans do not have any genetic connection, and I'd even put genetic connection in there. We don't have any connection with the ancient Kushites. Are you ready for this one? We are still 70 to 90% Nigeria, Ghana, Angola, Democratic of the Congo. We still have genetic mapping of the ancient remains in the Nile River Valley, which is the closest direct possible descendants of the ancient Kushites and Nubians. Modern Northeast African populations, once again, Nilotic ethnic groups, once again, Sudan ethnic groups that we are not attached to, Afro-Asiatic speaking Horn Africans, right? And we already went over. We are Niger Congo language families,
all right.
right?
So now you make mention of Sudan. Sudan, all those
Oh,
nation
you're not gonna
amongst
respond to
all those
that.
nation amongst the Nile is a part of the Karma culture, which make up the Kushite Empire. All right.
Yeah, you
So
can't
if you
do
talking
it.
about civilization, that you talking about the origin of
Oh
civilization,
no,
brother.
I'm not.
You
No, I'm
talking.
not. I'm talking about genetic ancestry, and you're deflecting on purpose. You're intentionally responding with a red herring non sequitur because you can't address these points that you genetically do not attach to anybody in Northeast Africa, Ethiopia, Kush, Sudan, or none of them places. You are a descendant of a West African, and you have self-internalized racism, and you're
Why
going through
why are
spiritual
you so
psychosis.
why are you so like hard pressed to be like linked to the East Africans? I'm just trying to figure. Is this like a religious thing
Rastafari.
or?
Yeah, it's religious. It's religious because listen, he obviously got some
First of
gospel
all, let me
heritage.
speak for
He
myself.
hold on,
I'm
hold on,
speaking for
hold on,
me.
hold on. I'm
You
talking
know
right
me,
now, man.
brother. How you speaking for me, man?
Look. If you would have been in Jamaica, Queens, or if you would have been in certain parts of the Bronx,
Yo, I
depending
grew up
on
in
where
New
you at,
York City.
look, if you would have just went up in certain areas, you might have been a 5%. If you'd have went down the block or caught the subway to another spot, you probably would have been one of
5% is
these.
so.
You probably would have been a Moor. You probably would have been one of them damn Noble Jew Ali
5% is so.
followers. But somehow your lineage or your descendancy, because you speak a little patois and you're in New York, you became a Rastafari. But guess what, bro? All
Rastafari.
you got to do
Boy, you
is
know me like
get outside, get
Top
outside of
shopping.
that
you know
block,
me like
get
that.
The
outside of that block
Dandala.
that
I
you
show
grew
you how
on.
illiterate you are.
If you get outside of that block that you grew
I
up
show you how
on,
illiterate.
or without those familial ties from your cousins that want to be something that they not, they will learn that we not Ethiopians, we not Kushites. They are not the originators of civilization. They're not. And civilization has nothing to do with the origins of human beings and man. That's what y'all conflate and confuse all the time because somebody had a
Bro,
society
speak
that
for
they
yourself.
built. Hold on, that they built and they had laws and regulations. You want to
Get
quantify
on the
that
next
as the
one, bro.
beginning of all humankind, a beginning of all humankind, and you want to make a direct line, beeline from there to West Africa, and then jumping all the way over there to guess what? To the Americas, to the Caribbean, and then to North America. You want to make that a straight line, and it's not. Y'all conflate that shit because you pseudo as fuck, bro. Just admit it. It's okay. We all been pseudo at one time. Well,
Yeah,
I know I
yeah. I
was.
was pseudo for a minute.
Brother, go
Hey,
read a
okay.
book.
Hey,
Go
hey,
read
Juice. I'm gonna let
a
you
book.
respond, Juice.
You
I'm gonna let
are
you
dumb
respond. Y'all
as
don't interrupt
shit.
him.
Go read.
I'm gonna give him. Hold on, y'all. Don't interrupt him. I'm gonna give him 3 minutes to respond, and then after this, I want to get to some of the other panelists who've been patient. Go ahead and say your piece. I'm gonna give you 3 minutes, brother. Go ahead and see if you can say something intellectual for us.
First of all, this guy needs to go read a book. And second of all, you know he's dumb if he just keep talking on somebody that he don't know from Jack. That's to show you that you guys have no facts. Second of all, when I'm talking about the karma culture, this is the civilization that created everything in this whole entire universe right now. Mathematics, science, everything. So that's why I would want to be a East African, a person that's never been colonized by your white man or none of that shit. Of course, I would want to be representing myself with that identity as a free man, as a holy man, as a godly individual. And the only place on God earth that have a theocratic government is Ethiopia. So why not? Why
Oh,
not?
okay.
Well, not now,
Oh,
not now, but that's where we originate our concept from. You understand? So when we develop this culture, it's not coming from one identity. It's based on a lot of different things that, we put together seeing the truth. But you guys speaking on Rastafari, speaking on a lot of things that you never read a book about. And it's a shame, that grown man speaking like this, like, yo, you guys is totally illiterate, brother. I'm sorry to say that. Can't even have a conversation
okay. You
because
got
you
a
don't
minute
know
and a
half
half.
the
You
shit.
got a
You
minute and a
got to
half. Try to
Google
teach. Try to teach,
everything
brother.
that you're talking about. You
Try to teach
Googling
real quick. Try to
everything.
teach. You
That
got
you
one more
can't have
minute.
a conversation like that. You don't have nothing freestyle off the head. You just Googling everything because you don't know nothing
All
really.
right.
And you
You've been
pretending to
insulting.
be smart.
You've been insulting your whole time. Please try to teach us something before your minute is up. Go.
And do some research on the Emperor Haile Selassie, see what the name mean, see what the throne represent, see the genealogy and the geographical location that is set on. You understand? And really come back when you finish doing these things and have a
I feel you,
conversation
baby. He got
about
me. He
Haile
got me up here
Selassie.
crying too, baby.
You know, you can't
I
have
have
a
a question.
conversation about
I
Haile
have a
Selassie
question
if
for
you
you.
know nothing about it factually. You
I
don't
have a
know
question
anything
for you.
factual about Haile
Oh,
Selassie, but you want to
hold
have a
on.
conversation. That
Hey,
shit is
I have a
ridiculous.
question. I
hold on,
have a
Pop. You got
question.
30 seconds.
I have a question. Did Haile Selassie
He
consider
got
himself?
hold on. He
Did
got
Haile
30 seconds to
Selassie
teach us something.
consider himself?
Yeah,
You got
he's
30,
not going
20
to.
seconds. Teach
Yeah,
us
he's
something.
not going
I'm
to.
going to tell you, go and research who the Emperor Haile Selassie is. That's the only thing I'm going to teach you.
I
Go
think
and
you
do
the first.
your
That's not
research.
teaching. Okay,
Your
fine.
research. And then you won't be so dumb and
I
stupid when
knew
you
he was
talk
going to
to
insult
people
us. I
like
knew that's
me.
what he was going to do. I knew he was going to insult
Yeah,
us.
Well,
because what else can I do? You got to learn it.
I
You
have a
got to go and
question.
Yeah, that's
read.
all you can do. That's all you can do when you can't teach. Go ahead, that's all.
I have a question for it. I have a question. Did Haile Selassie ever consider himself the second coming of Christ?
Oh, he actually did it. He actually said he wasn't.
You're not a Rasta. Don't speak on it. First of all, first of
Ah.
all,
Hold on,
first of
hold on.
all, first of
Like
all, what is the
Trinitarians.
title
Hold on,
when Christ come? First of all, when Christ come, what is the title he
Kings
said
of kings,
he's gonna
lords
be
of
known?
lords.
And
Lord, right,
yeah,
conquering
so
line of
what
Judah.
that answer your
So, but
question? That answer
no,
your
hold on one
question?
second.
Yeah,
Hold
but he
So
on,
then you
denounced
hold
saying
that.
the
on,
prophecies is fake.
hold
You
on,
saying the
hold on.
Bible and the prophecies is fake. That's what you
No,
saying.
what we don't. This is
Ah,
the only question. Hold on. This is the only thing I'm going to consider to ask you. Are white tea people allowed to be part of Rastafari?
Rastafari. It's a salvation for everybody, man. Everybody could be saved.
So
Salvation
I'm going.
means for you to be saved, brother.
So
Everybody can
I'm
learn the
going to
truth,
ask.
and everybody
So
can
that
submit
means.
to the truth, brother. Come on.
So that means white tea people can become a Rastafarian.
Yeah, yeah. Not maybe in my set that I'm from, but they can become a 12 tribe Rastafari
Yeah,
from the
yeah.
12
They're not
tribe
going to
group.
be. They're not going to be
Naya
Bobo
Bingi.
Shanti. They're
Yeah,
not
they
going to
could
be
be.
Bobo Shanti.
They can be
And some
because
and some
you know
and
why they're
some
gonna
and
be. You
some.
know why they could
Hold
be
on.
because they
Hold
praise
on there.
Haile Selassie, and as a white man, they look towards a black god as their god.
I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you
That's
know
power.
anything.
That's power.
I'm just letting you know anything that a white tea person can participate in with black folk is gonna have a problem. I'm just letting you know that from the rip.
Black people been having a problem for a long time about with
We talking
themselves.
about Rasta.
So
Nah, stay on the
we
Rasta.
talking
Stay
about
on the
righteous
Rasta.
people. We talking about
Uh,
conscious people and righteous people, and
tell me,
that's what we talking about, brethren.
have you ever met a righteous white tea person?
Well, I'm gonna
Tell
tell you
me,
the truth. I'm gonna
have you
tell you the
met a
truth.
righteous?
Listen. I'm gonna tell you the truth. I've met
I
a
mean,
righteous whitey person, but I don't think I met a spiritual connected whitey person. That's what I'm searching for with whitey people.
give me the
Why you
first and
laugh?
last name. Give
Why
me the
you
first and
laugh?
last name of this righteous
Why
white
you
person.
laugh?
Look,
Give
look.
me.
Why you
No.
laugh?
Hold on. I need the
So when
first and last
Bob,
name of this. I need the first. Give me the.
look, you got Bob and Junior
I need the
gone, right?
first
We
and
know
last
they
name
they
of this
they
righteous
they
white
have a
person.
ad mixture, right? So are they capable? They good. They righteous. Bob righteous, and his quarter
Practice is something you can learn, man.
Son Junior is Junior Gong righteous.
All right. This is a quote. This is a quote.
Righteousness is something you can learn, man.
All right,
You
hold on. Let's
understand?
learn. Let's
But
learn. This is a quote from Haile
consciousness,
Selassie.
we talking about
Don't disrespect the emperor. All right, so this is his answer right here. When he was asked, he said, "There's millions of Christians throughout the world, your opinion, man, who regard you as the reincarnation of Jesus Christ. I have heard of that idea. I also met certain Rastafarians. I told them clearly that I am a man, that I am a mortal, and that I will be replaced by the oncoming generation, and that they should never make the mistake like you dumb fucks in assuming or pretending that a human being is emanated from a deity." Cope. Let's hear how you cope in real time. Hold on. Come off mute. That's an invitation. Let me hear what you have to say. I know it.
Tell us
do
that
you
Haile
know,
Selassie
do
lying.
you
He don't
know
know what he
how
talking
many,
about.
believe you me, do you know how many times I've seen and heard that before? Do you know how many times? Now, we talking about God sitting on a throne here, using words specifically. It's impossible for a man to be a reincarnation of the same exact deity or man from 2,000 years ago. It's completely bullshit. So if you ask the question, are you Jesus Christ? Yeah, he has the right to tell you, no, I'm not Jesus Christ. Second of all, he come on earth as not the invisible being, as not the stillness, the one God that no one never seen. He come through a divine lineage that prophecy said, all right, he gonna come through this lineage, he's gonna sit on the throne of David, Solomon, Queen of Sheba, and Christ, and represent, you seeing, redemption, salvation for walks of people. Now, do you know Haile Selassie was the one that brought the ecumenical council together? Not the Pope, Haile Selassie.
Okay,
Okay?
it
Do you
says
know Haile
right
Selassie was the
here.
one that brought the OAU?
Haile Selassie told you, you should never make the mistake in assuming or pretending that a human being is emanated from a deity, and you're steadily doing it. I need some more pseudos to come up in here, y'all. Tap the screen, repost it live if we can. I am maxed out on the roster claim. FBAs, y'all don't exist no more. I'm not gonna lie. Ever since Tariq Nasheed stopped entertaining y'all, y'all have ceased to exist. Pretendians, ever since Dan Calloway stopped making his videos, y'all have ceased to exist. Moors, y'all been fucking fading away like the Freemasons. Where is all of the pseudos in the world? Are they damn near extinct? Have we done our job? Have we ran y'all off the internet? It's literally only 7 of y'all left. Y'all don't stream no more. Y'all don't go live no more. Y'all don't entertain us. Y'all don't come by and pull up on us. What happened? Did we cook them all? Did we eat the feast?
I think they're just hiding.
Yeah, I think they probably waiting on
Oh,
another
bro, you got too
charismatic
many
group.
people blocked.
What's that, Mello?
He said you got too
You
many
got too
people
many people
blocked.
blocked, bro. I promise you.
Yeah, either I got them blocked or they blocked me. But I only blocked the real short bus ones. But if I do, then salute to me. I need to check my block list, y'all. I'm gonna show y'all my block list if I can see it right now. Let me see if I can
So
see it.
here goes some wild shit. I'm gonna trip you out
Bro,
on.
I was
So
just blocking people on anything at the time. After a while, I was just blocking his left and right. Anybody who was saying something crazy, bro, I was like, man, I don't even want it in my atmosphere. Like,
No, I'm not that bad. I only really block people who come over here to troll. So I may have a lot of people blocked from, them little white boys that come over here and start spamming hard R. But as far as pseudos, I don't think I got any, especially hold on, let me see. I'm finna show y'all my blocked accounts, y'all. Hold on. I'm finna show y'all this shit. Hold on, manage accounts. Blocked accounts. All right, y'all finna show y'all my block accounts. I promise y'all it ain't that bad. Hold on, let me look first. Oh yeah, y'all gonna be like, Don ain't got too many people blocked. Oh shit, hold on, it's getting longer, y'all. It's getting longer. Hold on. Oh shit, damn. Oh shit, damn. Oh shit, but I don't know none of these people.
Yeah, that's why you don't see that pseudo shit no more. That's a
But
lie.
ain't none of these people nobody though.
They parents. I'm willing to bet they parents.
See, I'm blocking. Ain't none of these nobody. I won't block nobody with no type of name. Look, I mean, maybe him. He got 4,000 followers. Definitely not him. I blocked this Morris scrub. He got 4,000 followers. And then anyone that is somebody, they don't want no smoke. Oh, y'all know I had to block this clown. Yeah, y'all know that. Yeah, nobody on here got any type of motion.
He's still now, all these years later, coming in here with the Star Wars intro.
Oh yeah, I had to block this dude for real. Y'all, I blocked him on everything. If y'all, I hate him. Yeah, he not a pseudo though. Blocked him. I know he probably somebody, but none of these people I'm talking about blocked him. I know he get a name.
Man, that culture black dude. Oh God, that dude there.
Yeah, man, none of these people on nothing.
Ignorance on 1,000.
I blocked
But
her.
yeah, man.
How
How about this, bro? I end up finding out through a cousin of mine. She's on some pseudo stuff right now. She like in her 50s. And she just now getting introduced to this shit because she got time. She work a third shift, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she got time to see all the videos. She just keep just bombing me with all this pseudo stuff. So she's claimed that one of our cousins, like a second or third cousin, is this dude Rashad Jamal. Oh, you got Creed? Yeah, you got Creed blocked.
Yeah, I do good. I did good blocking him. I don't
Yeah, that dude there, he's a glutton for punishment, bro. He'll keep coming back. His skull's so thick.
I'm telling you. Oh, y'all know I got Donnie blocked. He had to go. Donnie kept on acting like he wanted smoke, did not want it. Yeah, man. It's not too many. It ain't too many. I ain't gonna lie, there's nobody on here with a name though. Besides the reoccurring pseudos.
But the roster man on below me, man, look, bro. It don't get nowhere. It don't do nothing. Like straight up, we got a little boy that just got murked not too long ago, and they finally had that trial, man. That roster shit don't do nothing. Ain't nobody finna help. Ain't nothing. No spiritualism gonna change that shit. It's a false religion. It's a false cult at that. It's more of a cult than it is a religion. And just being honest with you, man, if you don't get up out of that and start, especially don't teach your kids that shit, man, because that shit, it don't do nothing for us, man. We out here struggling. Our babies, we talking about this baby was 14, man. A little boy. And just like I was, what was that? What movie that was that with, was it Boys in the Hood? When they had that same scenario, young boys walking in the corner store and the Asian people, whether they was Chinese, Japanese, don't know. But they following them. Say, we feel sorry for your mother.
Mm-hmm.
Same shit. It literally happened.
Yeah.
Man, that roster stuff, man, it's about as much. Throw it in there with the Moors, the Egyptians. None of that stuff work, bro. I don't care. Your Kundalini ain't finna match what these motherfucking Europeans got for your ass. And
Bro,
if
you that's
Haile
dumbing
Selassie
blind. You are
did anything, guess
85,
what?
bro.
Guess what?
You are
Look.
85,
See, now
bro.
you spewing 5%.
You are
Goddamn.
85, bro.
Now you spewing. Which one you gonna
You
be? You
are
gonna be
85,
5%er?
man.
You gonna be a 5%, or you gonna be
You are
Rasta? So
85,
that
bro.
tells me
Bro,
you
I grew up
definitely
with
was
five
in.
percenters. I grew up with five
Exactly.
percenters. All they do is
So
sell jugs, bro. What are you talking about?
look.
And they
All my
preach Allah.
family. Look.
And
All
they
my
preach Allah.
family.
And they selling drugs all
5%er,
day.
and guess
What you
what?
talking about?
And guess what? They say the same shit you
They
saying
ain't
right
nothing
now.
more. Nah,
They
they ain't
talk
got a
the
culture. They ain't
same
got a
way.
king. They ain't got a
They talk.
king. That sit on the
They don't need a
throne.
king. They
You
don't.
want
They don't
Well,
worship a
they ain't
man
saying the
like
same
you.
thing I'm saying.
You
They
worship
ain't
a
saying the same thing
man.
I'm saying if they
They
don't have
don't
a
worship
king.
a man.
They
I'll
don't
give
have a
them that.
king. A
Even though
king is
they
not
pseudo
worshiping
is
a man. That's a god. A king is because you're looking at a sovereign. And
even though they pseudo as fuck, they don't worship a man like you, a motherfucker that eat shit and sleep just like you. They don't worship no fucking man like you. So I'll give 5% of that. And they right around the corner for you. Like I said, on every corner, you got these pseudos selling that bullshit. And y'all roped off into it. Your whole life is
what are
roped
you
off into it.
selling?
Matter
What
of
are you
fact,
selling?
matter of
What are
fact,
you
with the
selling?
matter of fact, I'm selling truth is what I'm
What are you
selling.
selling?
I'm selling freedom is what I'm
You
selling. Matter
selling
of fact, I'm
illusion.
giving it away.
You're
I'm
selling
giving it away for
illusion.
free
Nobody,
because
because
I'm a
nobody wants that
because
shit.
I'm giving it away for free because I'm a poor righteous teacher and I'm a true poor righteous teacher. But
Well, nobody wants your shit.
you motherfuckers are running around here with natty dreads and thinking that just because you got some locks from Sam, you believe you fucking got some strength for having hair on your fucking head. It makes no sense. Y'all make
Yo, you country boys,
no scientific, biological,
but your
economical
country.
fucking nationalists. Y'all don't make no fucking sense. Y'all trying to run to Ethiopia when your motherfucking ass is in America and goddamn Jamaica. Stupid
All
as
right.
fuck.
All right. So let me see
Stupid
if
as
I can
shit.
come to a consensus
You
real
know how
quick.
many times I went there?
Real quick, Jews. Real quick, Jews. Okay, obviously, Black Americans, we're not gonna be Rastafaris. It's really only regional. So this is my thing. You know, we black. We can for sure stamp that. You even said the Ethiopians was black. I've heard a lot, if not the majority of Ethiopians, say that they black too. That's cool. Ethiopians, East Africans in general, the black ones. Even though I'm, West African descendant, I still, we still the same race ultimately, right? Culturally different, understand that, but we need to unite, and that's what this platform is about. Um, a lot of the different identities that y'all have, whether it's Rastafari, the Moors, the Hoteps, the FBA, the Indigenous, all of this, the Hebrew, even like this is only dividing us more, right? And this is what I've always said: you never see a Rastafari versus the Moor, a Moor versus a Hotep versus a Israelite. All you pseudos are all y'all all sympathize with each other. Notice how many platforms you're gonna find like this one, where it's like, hey, we need to all drop all the boo-boo. Unite that we black. Unite in the fact. Oh, this did I show y'all this one? This is the one I really wanted to talk about. Look at this, and this don't include you, but you know what I'm saying. Just like when the Haitian Revolution set the precedence for the abolition of slavery, we know we set this shit off. It could start a domino effect. When calculating for the complete oppression experienced from slavery through Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, and other systemic harms, the estimated one-time financial reparations amount is approximately 2.1 million per eligible African American descendant. All of this bullshit that's really a psyop is pushing on these algorithms is just that. It's to cause disunity and confusion, divide and conquer. They've used this tactic for over 500 years now. Snap the fuck out of it. Snap out of it already. We got to unite in one thing. And like I said, we comprised of these multiple tribes, right? And then not only that, when we came over here, they made sure to divide the ones that was similar to where it's still going on. We are still divided. When is the black people going to unite? And hey, we black, we do have a common opposition, right? Systemic racism is real. White supremacy is real. Capitalism is real, and it's based off the backs of our ancestors. When are we going to unite and say, "Hey, it's time to give some type of"? Now they're not never going to give us this. They'll all jump off the Empire State Building before they let this happen. But we got to come together to force some type of issue, and it's only going to come with unity. And we're not all going to be Rastafari. I'm sorry, you can forget that one. If it makes you feel good, then cool. I'm of the belief that whatever your personal belief is, I'm fine with it. The only thing about it is y'all are not. Y'all want to force y'all beliefs on other people. Y'all can't keep y'all subjective beliefs to yourselves, right? And y'all want to try to push it on everybody. Oh, everybody gonna be what is it called? Umma? Where they want it? What's it called? Black Fur? Where they want people to be Muslim and we could be brothers or
Oh,
something.
Umar. Yeah, the
Um,
Umar.
yeah, or if I'm Christian, then I
The
could be your
Umar.
brother. If I was Rastafari, then you'll be having the best time with me up here. But instead, we pushing truth, and the truth is opposed to some of your fictions, right? So, nonetheless, um, this is gonna have to get to a point where we drop all the fictions, the fallacies, and unite in one truth, and that is that we are black. That we are systemically oppressed over here. And unless we come to that conclusion and in solidarity with that, then we gonna forever be talking about the wrong things. We're not gonna get shit done. We always, motherfuckers, we ain't gonna be shit special. And that's just gonna be the say all be all of our history here. When are we gonna pivot and make the change, and how are we gonna do it? Because it's not gonna be in Rastafari.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. Can I ask you a follow up question though?
Yes, please.
Can you put that other
Is this it?
thing you had back up with the claim, the 2.7
Okay, hold
million?
on. Yeah, give me a second.
Yeah, you definitely got me thinking about this FBA thing. I guess I don't really have a problem with FBA, African American, whatever, as long as a descendant of slaves, as Americans who've been here for 400 years, creating our personal distinct culture. As long as we can have a culture of our own that's distinct, just like every other group, I don't think that necessarily like precludes us from coming together and unifying. But I do think it's important that we all have our own distinct culture and cultural and ethnic identity. With that being said, you were talking about coming together and unifying, and I'm just kind of curious, in your opinion, let's say hypothetically, America did pay this money out. Who all do you think it should go to?
Oh, it say it on here. It says it on here. The descendants of slavery. Uh, for the most part, these are the same people who went through Jim Crow, redlining, mass incarceration, and the ongoing systemic efforts to harm us as a population. So, yeah, essentially, descendants of chattel slavery. Still starting from that point, moving forward, right?
And
Would that be? Would that?
Hold on. Sorry, what's up?
and we are also labeled in the Constitution under a name, as per to the Constitution. Freedmen. We descend from freedmen. Freedmen, the actual word freedmen is in the Constitution to delineate or make distinct that particular lineage. So they already know who we are and where we come from, and they've already labeled us. So that's what it means to be a freedman. Be freed from chattel slavery. We're freedmen and the descendant of freedmen.
Okay. I'm kind of curious, Dundada, if and I guess this is a question too for I was going to ask this too to the new guy who just came in here, Moon the something, I can't see your whole name, but if FBAs were freedmen instead of FBA, would that change how you guys feel about them?
So no,
Would
it's not
that,
the
would
name.
that
Before a moon respond, it's not the name for me. When I heard the name, before looking into the backdrop, I was fine with it, just like everybody else who didn't do their research on it. But it was more so the rhetoric that came with it, and also when I seen the website and seen the claims that they have with the Pretendian claim, and also they have a lot of we referenced the Moors on here. They have a lot of Moorish rhetoric as well. So I mean, just say you take the dude who coined it out the picture and just say it's just strictly about a name. I still ain't fucking with it because we already, like we said, we already got a name. And even if you want to reference the one in the Constitution, we already are delineated. And that's why I kind of really want Mello to present this, but I'll let a Moon respond real quick.
All right. So what was the question again? I'm following, but I'm not following at the same time. So what is it?
Oh, my question was, I know there was some just talk about like FBA, and I think you said you weren't really fucking with it. And my question was just kind of, was it like the name or what exactly are the claims like were kind of turning you off to it? And I just kind of wanted to understand. And before you answer, I just will say that real quickly, I don't personally subscribe to the FBA claim of we're indigenous or we're like native to America or like any of that bullshit. I don't really understand that. My whole thing is I just wanted like a distinct culture that was, unique and our own. And I think, and I'm not going to go on too much longer. And I just felt like that FBA name was kind of needed just because a lot of other countries like Jamaica and Haiti that also, had slaves in the transatlantic slave trade. We were only a small percentage of America versus in like Jamaica, the slaves were way more than they were the majority of the population, whereas we're a minority of it. So I felt like between that and then a lot of like immigration, because America's a big melting pot, I felt like it was kind of hard to define and kind of own your culture without like, I don't know, without like an FBA movement. That was kind of my justification for it. But I'm just kind of curious. You guys seem to be kind of down on it. So I was just kind of curious as to why exactly that is. Because I know your things just said FBA claims, but I'm just kind of curious, like what claims specifically?
Okay. So when I first heard of the term FBA, I was kind of like, all right, cool. I mean, I don't really care about the name because, I mean, we already have a name, which is African American. On one hand, I understood this need to, like, make clear that, hey, we are the black people of the United States. So I understood it, and I remembered at the time that I first heard of the term FBA, there were a lot of immigrants that were basically claiming African American culture or just claiming to be Black Americans even though they were immigrants. But on one, like for example, I am half Jamaican and half African American, so I thought they were very dumb for basically saying African Americans didn't have any culture, because that was not true in the slightest. But once I heard like the super like pro America, like we're like the very Trump-ish sounding or MAGA sounding FBA rhetoric, that's where I was like, stay away from me, because I'm technically a part of the other people that you don't like, but I've been assimilated into African American culture, so I wouldn't know the difference. And also, they're pretty much just you're just a black person to me, but you speak a different language. That's kind of how I view immigrants. But again, I'm biased since I have Jamaican ancestry, and I think I did have a problem with the name because it kind of was like given off like elitist vibes, like especially like the foundational part. It sounds like when white people say that they built America and that they're what it means to be American, and I could never get on with that. So that's kind of why I'm not fond of them. So that's kind of my opinion. But
okay, I see what you're saying. I guess let me just ask you a follow up. I think for me personally, like I'm not like I'm just Black American. I don't have like any Jamaican or any other lineage like that. And for a lot of us, our ancestors, like we've gone to school. We had like Black History Month. We had like learned about history. And we see like movies of our ancestors, they're like beaten, whipped, and they were slaves for hundreds of years. And without our labor, without 250 years of free labor, America would not be as prosperous as it is today. This country wouldn't exist. We've built the country. We fought in every single war. and we've been fighting for our rights ever since we got here. And so I think that a lot of Black Americans, well, I shouldn't say a lot. I don't know. I shouldn't speak for anyone, but I think there are Black Americans who feel like maybe not elitist, but they feel like this is our country in a way that the term African American
Alrighty.
doesn't
That's
really
Have a good one.
doesn't really kind of capture. And so it's not really like to be elitist. It's just to say like, we built this and this is ours and this country owes us in ways that it doesn't owe other people. It's kind of my take on it. Does that change how you feel about it at all? Or I'm just kind of curious what your thoughts on that.
I understand what you're saying. Like, we don't agree, but you've been. It's just a different feeling for me because I had a very complicated view of America. And I also never felt a part of it as both a Black person and just. Yeah, I think it's just knowing the history. I just never felt a kinship to this place.
And Immune, brother, just to interject, and I have to do this. And what up, though, Don Dada, and peace to all the brothers on the panel, man. I appreciate Britain. Also, you already know how I feel about you, brother. But yeah, when you talk about or you try to insert that the African man built this country. What in fact we did was built the economics of this land and then was not allowed to participate in the benefits of it due to the fact that that our ancestors did this under duress, stress, and the auspice of knowing that if they didn't do what they were supposed to do, that they would be unalive. So to try to stake claim, which is a fault of our more recent ancestors, to put these particular claims on a land that we know was stolen already, right? We don't have ownership of this land whatsoever, nor does the Anglo-Saxon, the European, or anybody else. This land belongs to the indigenous people. But however, we understand that, these people came over here and conquered this land in various ways. So as the fault of people who promoted that we built this land, this is our land, and so on and so forth, they leave out all of the particular nuances that were involved during that particular time. So to be honest about it, yeah, of course we were a part of building this land, but more so what we did was build the economics of this land. We were the first to be traded, opposed to the New York Stock Exchange that we know today. We have been ousted. We have not been allowed to participate in anything in regards to government rules, regulations, laws, or anything. So I think that for African Americans that promote the fact that we built this land is the fact that they're doing it out of hearing and regurgitating voices of the past who does not and did not have the information that we have at our fingertips right now. We see this today. We see that why do Black Americans need a voting rights act if this is your land? Why do we need a civil rights act if this is your land? But again, here's the caveat. Too many of us Negroes want to be in proximity to whiteness. This is why we want to claim a land that don't claim us. This isn't our land. Physically, spiritually, is not our land. Genetically, is not our land, period. This land has done nothing but been detrimental to our people. In fact, we suffer from so many different diseases because we're on this land. So again, for y'all who want to make this particular claim it is ridiculous. However, I understand where it comes from. It comes from a bunch of pseudo black men who want to have that proximity to whiteness, who are now today representing white supremacy, white supremacy. They talk like white supremacists. They act like white supremacists. They vote like white supremacists. They disregard anybody with dark skin, just like white supremacists. And that's the problem. We need to clean house. You niggas who think that this is your land and not giving homage, paying homage to the American Indian and recognizing that we are all on stolen land, you niggas need to be ashamed of yourselves. You niggas who want to be Republicans and vote this way, acting as if you are doing something out of the box, you need to be ashamed of yourselves because you're voting against the majority of the African community choices and ideals. We are not these people, but yet over the centuries since our emancipation, black men especially. Now we do have some historical records of black women who have turned coat and sold out the race, but black men overwhelmingly are race traitors when it comes down to our community, our liberation, because you want to be a cracker and a cracker can't stand your ass. I'll land.
Yeah, I guess I got a few points to say to that.
Go ahead.
Damn.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, I personally voted. I vote Democrat. I'm liberal, so I don't. I guess this is my first time hearing like a lot of the points you were making. I guess I do have some follow-up questions for that, but I guess my first point would be, it's not really so much the land. I don't think anyone is claiming, like I already said before, I don't believe, I know some FBAs believe we're indigenous to America, or they like claim that we're like, somehow native to the land. I personally don't subscribe to that. I never understood that. But when I talk about getting what's owed, I'm really more talking about America as like an organization. I'm talking about America like as the corporation, and the whole point of it for me.
Hold on, bro.
At least
I hate to interrupt, but what did you say? America, the corporation?
Yeah, it's not.
What
it's
did
not
you
so
get that
much.
from?
It's not so much the.
No. Again, you got that. You see, this is what I just said. You missed this part about regurgitating information that you really don't have the experience or the knowledge of, to suggest that America is a corporation as if it is a business like Apple or like Amazon is false. These are words that were presented to the public by white supremacists and then picked up by black supremacists, right? People who look like you and I, who continue to go out here and misrepresent the information. America is not a corporation as if it's this type of business that has these particular offices held. It's totally different. So again, this is why I blame people like Noble Drew Ali. I blame people like Elijah Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan. I blame people like Yahweh Ben Yahweh. I blame people like Dwight York. I blame so many, and it's so many more. It's hundreds of more men, black men, who have adopted the ideology of white supremacy, real quick, of white people who have a disdain for government and so on and so forth. And then they go out and learn from these people and bring that shit back to our community. And today we have been inundated. We have been saturated, pasteurized, homogenized. It's too much of this shit. And we have lost the fact that we are supposed to be intelligent, critical thinking people. And we don't do that. We are not looking at the facts. What we have done, we have succumbed to the ignorance, the most ignorant parts of our community. So to suggest that the United States, real quick, and I'll land here. I'm gonna
Well,
land
you
here.
cut me
So
off,
I
so I
know, but I'm
think
gonna
I
land here.
should.
I'm gonna land here, bro. But, and I'm sorry for cutting you off. But to suggest that the United States of America is a corporation is false and is not true. Stop it. It's a lie.
Yeah, and just let him land his next point without interjecting. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, right after you finish, can I present this?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Or you can go now, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, go Meadow.
All right, perfect. So this goes back to your previous claims about you wanting to separate and this, that, and the third. And I was trying to explain to you earlier. Again, I'm gonna read it from what it says. The U.S. knows exactly who immigrants are. Right. The United States has one of the most advanced systems in the world to identify, track, and distinguish between citizens, immigrants, and everyone in between. How the U.S. knows who immigrants. Documented entry. Every immigrant who enters legally is required to present documents, and this is recorded in the federal system. Biometrics and background checks. Fingerprints, photos, biographic information are collected and run through multiple security databases. Federal databases, information is stored in agencies like DHS, USCIS, FBI, CBP. These system tracks entries, visa status changes, and more. Ongoing tracking. Immigration status is continuously updated through employment records, tax data, DMV, travel records, and more. And enforcement when needed. If someone violates immigration law, the U.S. can identify, locate, and take enforcement action. Again, all right. So the blue one says, bottom line, the U.S. government knows who is here legally, who isn't, and the difference between immigrants and visitors. Understanding the difference. And the blue side, African Americans, U.S. citizens, descendants of enslaved people. Their ancestors were brought to America against their will and have been here for generations, long before immigration law. U.S. citizens by birthright. There are U.S. citizens guaranteed by the 14th Amendment in the U.S. Constitution. American history and culture. African American has built, defended, and shaped this country in every way, socially, culturally, economically, and politically. No immigration status. No, we do not have immigration status. We are not immigrants. They don't have status. And black people from other countries, that's the red side. Black people from other countries, born in another country, they are citizens or residents of their home country. When they come here, must follow immigration laws, and they have different legal status. They may have here on a visa, green card, asylum, refugee status, or other legal status, or may be here illegally. The U.S. can distinguish them. The U.S. government could clearly distinguish between African American citizens and black people from other countries. Immigrants are non-citizens. Race does not determine immigration status. The law, not skin color, determines who is an immigrant, who is a citizen, and what rights someone has in the United States. All right, and I'll drop it there.
So can I present mine too? As far as when he asked a question about reparations. I'm sorry. My bad, bro.
What you say, bro?
No, I just wanted to thank you for that, Mello. That was solid. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Can I get a big screen real quick, Don Dada? Yeah. So when we talk about reparations, because he did bring up that question too, in respects to who will be afforded reparations. I live in Michigan, so my representative, the Honorable John Conyers, was one of the very first people to introduce HR 40 to Congress. And then Sheila Jackson Lee, before she passed away, reintroduced it after he passed away. And then now it's still on the table, but yet it has not been so much put in as an actual law. It's still a bill to do more research. So if you go and look to the language of said proposed bill, then you would see that it talks specifically about the African Americans and their African ancestry. It doesn't talk about foundational Black Americans. Because again, if you talk, who is Livy? Somebody put Livy on mute, please. Got background noise. But yeah, So again, when we look at particular terminology, and this is what's so important about having some sense of education. Words have definitions, and definitions of these words truly matter. To be a black person, by standards of the U.S. Census.gov, to be a black person is a person who has African descendancy, more namely or more specifically, West and Central Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa. You got to be a part of those black races. That's what it means to be black. To be African American, we are people who have a particular history related to chattel slavery. It is what it is. And not to say that every African American, you can't find a slave or everybody was enslaved. No, we understand that they, through manumission, through our ancestors being able to work and purchase themselves freedom, and then the rest of their particular descendants were born free. We also understand that through the 13th Amendment, our freedom was given to us, and so on and so forth. That's what an African American is. An African American is not a person who recently came over here from the continent of Africa. But yet we have people who look like us who are born of this particular grade, muddying the waters themselves. When in fact, my brother Mello just showed you that the United States of America has everything in place to make sure that they are able to distinguish a person who was born on the continent of Africa or a person who was born in the Caribbean who immigrates to America. We are unwilling immigrants. Our ancestors were not willing participants of the transatlantic slave trade. They were kidnapped and trafficked. So we have to make sure we understand that. And last but not least, to be an American is our nationality. According to the 14th Amendment, anybody born on this soil is an American. So many of us were born on this soil. So our nationality is American. So again, you have your race, which is black, your ethnicity, which is African American. That's your culture. That's your music. That's the food. That's our shared experience. That's the way we talk, the way we walk, the swag that we have, the influence that we have. That's what being an African American is. And to be an American is, if you want to go light some fireworks on 4th of July and celebrate their Independence Day, okay, that's what it means to be an American. So black people, stop listening. Now, again, we understand that a lot of our historical heroes, they had to say the words that they had to say, and they had to do the things they had to do. But let's be intelligent about how we move forward in this land in order to get ourselves in a correct position to where we can continue to influence, but also enact change, because we need change. A little boy was unalive over a bottle of water, and the motherfucker who did it to him was a 3-time shooter and ended up walking free. So that's the biggest point.
So that FBA status ain't gonna save your ass when they get on your ass. Like this look, is this simple, right? I just want to add this. If you are looking for the American government, the United States of America, to give you reparations, right? And you're petitioning them for this, right? You're saying that you trust that they're gonna do the right thing because you asking them for this money, or you asking them for this reparative justice, right? So you trust in that, right? But you think they gon' just because you're not calling yourself FBA, they gon' try to wiggle out this shit. So which one is it? Because I know for a fact that FBA was just a term that was invented by a man that was piggybacking off somebody else. He was down with Adolphus first. He was also down with Claude Anderson, which Claude Anderson, super pseudo man, gonna say that we're native blacks. He called us native blacks. All Tariq did was just did a little bit of twist with the word and said, you know what, I could come up with something that sounds a little bit better than that. So, but if you doing all this for reparations, you gonna trust that they gonna get it right, right? So you gonna trust the name then? You trust that? I just don't get it, man. Because no matter what you say you are,
I
say
think the
again.
thought process. I think the thought process is, you got to fight for reparations, and before you do that, you have to be like unified as a collective group. Before you can actually get them. And the term FBA was the word for that group. But I'm guess Don Dada was saying that African American already
Yes.
fits that description, but that was at least my understanding.
It didn't come from Jesse Jackson. These are another one of these talking points. So the talking point, that's why I called out the issue of talking about America being a corporation. I've heard this before. I know where it comes from. This whole thing about saying that you're a native black person or FBA comes from YT supremacists. And what they say is they
Let me
call
say,
themselves heritage Americans.
well,
They
hold
That's
say
on. Let
that
me
true.
say
we are
something super quick to
heritage
you, though.
Americans, and they piggyback off that
Okay, let
and
me
they
just
just
say a
flipped
few
it.
things and I give you the floor right back.
Go ahead, bro.
Old hold on. Old dirty, I can't see
Dog.
your last
Old
name.
dirty dog.
Old dirty dog. Yeah, he said a lot. He was throwing a lot of stuff around. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a white supremacist. I'm not
I
conservative,
wasn't talking to you
and
though.
I don't ascribe to the idea that Black Americans are native or uh, you know, America is our ancestral homeland, or we were indigenous to this land. So I just want to make that very clear.
But look, bro,
Okay.
he wasn't getting at that. That's what we're talking about. So it's certain elements to what you say is what he was talking on. The
I mean,
elements,
I'm trying to be
the
respectful, but I did
no, no,
feel a
no,
little
it's not you.
attacked. Like
You shouldn't know. You shouldn't. It's look,
he
we
cut me
all
off and was throwing out some crazy stuff. It's just
no, bro, he coming from a good place because that's why I even interrupted and said this thing
But
about corporations because we know where this comes from. We done heard it before, whether it's from one of these Moorish nationals because FBA isn't together. Y'all are y'all. It's so many different factions of y'all. Some of them believe that they indigenous. Some of them don't. Some of them know that they have African ancestry. Some of them disclaim it all the way and said nope, we ain't even got nothing to do with them. So when they talking about delineation or saying they want to make themselves specific or of a specific group, they trying to divide, and that's not going to get you what you need in this. Because if you're looking for America to bow down and say, we see what they said when they went to the United Nations when they talked about the African Holocaust. What did they say? They denied it. They was never going to agree to it. It was only two countries that did that though, right? So if you up here, not you per se, you, and once again, I'm not getting at you directly. I'm getting the FBAs that come with this rhetoric.
mhm.
If the United States won't even say that, what makes you think that they're going to respect this new terminology that you came up with? It took forever just to be called African American to go from being not just Negro to go for just being colored. You know what I'm saying? So we established that. We established African American. This wasn't something that Europeans put on us. This was something that black people in America have been knowing forever. Carter G. Woodson said it. All of our ancestors that were great leaders, who were real leaders and not these pseudo freaking grifters that's out there. Because Tariq is a grifter, bro. So this whole FBA movement is based off of a grift. It's a hustler, just like Farrakhan. It's a grifter. Dr. York, grifter. All them dudes, even some of the rosters ain't even on that because they don't really have no centralized shit like the Nation of Islam. But a lot of these people they grift just because they want to be known for knowing something. They want somebody to look up to them for what they know, and they just be out there spreading misinformation all day, whether it's religious jargon or whether it's some of this political stuff. Because we got these dudes out here saying not to vote, that are voting Republican, and that we out here they busy dismantling everything that our ancestors fought for. Why? If this two wings of the same bird, why they fighting so fucking hard to take the goddamn voting rights? Why they fighting so hard to do the gerrymandering? You're not gonna get this being being splintered the way we are right now. And FBA is just another splinter in the whole damn thing, bro.
You're
Y'all
saying
big
it's a
screen,
splinter
big.
like from just the general, just like African Americans in general?
No, FBA is a they are cosplaying white nationalists. They just put a black face on it, bro. Everything that they spew is the same thing that white T nationalists spread, white T supremacists spread. We're not saying you're a supremacist, but the stuff that they use, the tactics, the xenophobia, all of the tactics that they use, we've never seen this before. If you study history, if you look at what happened during World War II, we know where they got it from. We know where the Nazis got this from. They got it from these Southern Democrats. And then they flip around to be Republicans. So they have a campaign for propaganda out here. And FBAs don't even know it's a campaign for propaganda. They don't even know that these people are cosplaying, playing like they black people, but they really just spreading misinformation in order to splinter and and divide us. That's what's happening, bro.
Okay, I hear what you're saying. So what's your ultimate point? So your point is just that FBA is just causing division.
FBA is another way to corral ignorance, to divide all black people in this country. But go ahead, Papa.
Yeah, no, you said it exactly what I was going to say. Absolutely. It is another way to maintain the confusion that is already there.
Because if we can sit back and talk about this political aspect of it, right? Because I've seen this plenty of times with FBA, and I asked them, well, what is your voting record? Who do you vote with? Oh, it's two wings of the same bird. And then they'll get some of these people even accelerationists, and that's how I know that's when it's a psyop. That's when I know it's propaganda. They want to accelerate.
What, an accelerationist?
They're accelerationists. They want to bring this down anyway. So YT supremacists, right? They have factions and groups. You got people who are supremacists, then you got those other ones that are just separatists. Then you have another faction that are accelerationists. They want to just tear it all the fuck down. And that's your people like Nick Fuentes. He's lightweight though. He's like a diet accelerationist. But within our own community, you have the same shit. You have some people like the Hebrew Israelites. Oh, they if you've ever been on the block and been around those dudes with the tassels and the purple on, you would see where they coming from. They don't even know where they getting this from. This black nationalist movement that they got, they don't know that they got that from YT nationalists. And they just piggyback on it. That whole Israel and being of the 12 tribes of Israel,
that's right.
YT people had that first.
That's right.
And then black grifters got onto it and they just remixed that shit. That's it, man. Almost everything. When we talk about even black culture right now, black culture is a melting pot, right? Most of our culture, you would just, if you know it, especially like with food, a lot of it was YT. It was European. Fried chicken, European. A lot of the culture that we have and we call black culture is a mixture between European and a little bit of African influence. Like when you're dealing with gumbo or you're dealing with stuff in the South, which I'm down here, eating certain foods or certain vegetables. That's a little bit of it though. But the vast majority of it is European. So even when it comes to our pseudo, it's fucking European. Our pseudo is even European. Talking about we gods from the planet Risk and we fucking Anunnaki, or even with the Moorish shit, right? These the real Moors were basically they were mixed. They was North African, but they was of a lighter skin tone because of the Arab mixture and the Berbers mixed in too. And then when they went to Southern Europe, they got mixed even more. All of that stuff, when these Spanish and conquistadors and these Portuguese came over here, they brought culture with them. A lot of the language came with them too. And guess what came along with it also? That pseudo supremacist shit. And that's what FBA picked up on, and they don't even know the fuck they're getting it from.
Yeah,
So,
I wanted
so
to add to that extremist part about the accelerists. One of the aspects, and this is actually even Dr. Claude even speaks about this, which was so poignant that they missed, is that they don't stand with government. It's just that they know that the current status of the government stands in their way, especially dealing with black folk. If you look at our experience as black people, the only real ally that black people, black Americans have been the federal government. The federal government took up arms twice. Once they took up arms as a civil war. And then the second time when they desegregated and sent the military to make sure that we were going to schools. Every single time at every turn when these white tea militias stood or whatever against what the federal government said to deal with black folk, the federal government sent their military to make sure it happened. These white nationalists, these white supremacists are making sure that there will not be a third time. That the next time they take up arms against black folk, there will be no federal government come to our aid.
Because they in the government. They taking us out of government. You know, it is a campaign to remove black women out of the federal government. You know why? They have the most compassion. They don't want that. They don't want them in the military. They trying to remove black generals. They doing it.
And you guys feel that those are FBA strategies? Yes. I'm kind of confused.
Yes, it is 100%. It is directly and indirectly part and parcel. Absolutely. The Heritage Foundation, right, very specifically articulates how are they able to get their talking points being expressed by people who are not white. They sat down in their think tank and said, hey, we got some talking points. We got some agendas that we need, but we got to figure out a way for not a white person to say it, because obviously they can't take when it comes from a white person's mouth. But if we can get an Asian, if we can get a Spanish, if we can get a black person to say what we're saying, it would be accepted and not seen as a problem and issue.
Bro, how many FBAs you heard say get off the Democrat plantation? How many FBAs you heard say that?
I hear it all the time. Go ahead, Max. How many times you heard it?
How many times have you heard the FBA say get off the Democrat plantation?
Yes.
I definitely think I've heard that before.
Okay.
How many have you heard them say? How many heard you say, man, the problem is immigrants. Our real issue are immigrants, in particular, black immigrants. Immigrants is because they're here to replace us. They take full advantage of cosplaying us and then getting in positions and then doing things against black. How many of you heard them say that?
I definitely heard that before.
Yeah,
a lot.
Have you heard that in history before though? Have you read history books and heard where this propaganda came from? This ain't no new playbook, yo. This is old.
Came from white tea people.
Where though? In Europe.
You look up the Great Replacement Theory. It's FBA verbatim.
Yep, great replacement.
Okay, I'm about to look into that.
Hey, I'm not to run down this momentum because y'all going crazy. But Livia, I appreciate your patience. If you wanted to tap into this conversation, feel free to get your input right now. If you're still there with us, is it Livia Culture? If not, then we'll keep it going.
I'm back.
All right.
I'm here. I'm just listening. It's a purely Black American conversation. My ears are open though. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you. Yeah, definitely listen to the Great Replacement Theory. Everything that they said is kind of like what Cujo said. The juxtaposition of white tea supremacy is just as asinine as white tea supremacy itself. And yeah, they're black nationalists. Essentially, their enemy is the black diaspora. And it's not even immigrants as a whole. It's really the black immigrants, which is we make up the minority of immigrants into this country.
Exactly. So why do they want to focus on the black immigrants? It's a reason.
That nationalism and that concept of nationalism is a white tea ideology. Reason why is because the nationality that is presented as done by white tea is that their physical blood that's going through their veins is connected to the dirt that they're standing on. That is essentially what the nationalism is. So when an Italian is standing in Italy, your blood is connected to the ground that you're standing on. This is why FBA has that talking point about indigeneity and having indigenous. Because they think indigenous means that you come out of the ground where you're standing, that you're connected to the earth, the physical earth as a human being. And that is not it. You are not. The white national speaks of being connected to the ground that they're standing on. And so they're going to use pseudo ideology to support the idea that somehow, some way, they came out of the dirt upon the ground that they're standing on.
Like a mushroom on cow shit.
Exactly.
Okay, I guess I can see all that. I guess my whole thing was, I just felt like we just needed to delineate, just because, so we can have our culture, and just so we can be proud of our culture. That was half of it. The other half was, I felt like, we needed to acknowledge our lineage and our enslaved ancestry, specifically and thoroughly, so that we can meaningfully fight for reparations.
But here's my thing. What other title does that better than African American when you're talking about our slave ancestors?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
What other title does it better than saying African American? If you say FBA and you say foundation, the foundation of what? Like you talked about the United States Corporation. Oh, let's just talk about the founding of the United States, 1776, right? When it was founded, you were not considered a citizen of that at all. So when you say that you built the foundation, like, this is my thing, and I tell this to a lot of the FBAs. Everybody want to say this is our land because we built this up. If I was forced, because I've endured forced labor before, where I had to build things that I couldn't benefit from, I didn't give a fuck what happened to that shit. If it fell down, the wind blew it down in the hurricane, I didn't give a fuck because I was forced to do that. So when we talking about this land and what we are owed and what we'll do, this shit is like, I look at it like Monopoly there. Let's wipe the whole fucking board clean. And this is what acceleration is like to do too. They would say, okay, all of it need to be tore to the fucking ground and let's start all over again and build something new. But they know that they're building in a different way. They know that they still got reserves. They got pew-pews in reserve. They got resources in reserve. So they're quick to say they want this to turn to ash and rubble, and then they come right behind and swoop it all up. But when black people say this, we looking at it in a different way. We like, okay, we not benefiting from this, so let it all go. Let it all go because I don't own anything here. I don't have any investment here. And that's what we hear from the young generation. That's how I was when I was young. I didn't give a fuck about none of this because guess what? I had no financial investment in it. I didn't own anything. So I was quick to say, fuck it all. So that's where the black nationalists came from. That's what, when I was with NOI, that's what being with Morris Science Temple, being with Dr. York and all these other different pseudo groups. A lot of them was talking about how to subvert the system or how to get around. What was the fucking cheat code? We needed the cheat code to this shit. So the other way that we gonna make it right, tear it all fucking down. But it's easy to say when you have no investment. It's easy to say when you don't have any family that you're looking to care about. Because I got mothers, I got cousins. I know they won't be able to survive some shit like that. So these FBAs, they talk reckless as fuck online. Real reckless. Instead of just, and this same thing, I seen this the other day, Don Daughter, with your boy Claude Anderson. He was on the Rock, I think it's Rock Newman's show. And they was asking him about all this stuff with FBA, about reparations and everything. And he went in on Dr. King. And he talked about how segregation went right, but they did the best they can do at that time. He talked about how integration went right, my fault. And Rock asked him a specific question. That motherfucker tap danced around this shit so fucking much. I'm gonna find the video and send it to you, Don. He said, if it wasn't integration, what would have been our best way to get freedom in this country, to get equality in this country, to get finances, everything? Bro, he just kept spitting statistics. He just spins statistics left and right. Shit we already fucking know. When we talking this thing about reparations, most people who been in it talking about reparations, we know these statistics. We know about fucking redlining. We know about the Homestead Act and how we weren't able to benefit from it, the GIB. He just kept rallying that shit off. He never answered that fucking question. When you go into the comments, you see all these motherfucking cheerleaders. All these cheerleaders and motherfucking parents. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Cheering this bullshit on. I went into the comments and said, what is the fucking solution if it wasn't goddamn integration there? If it wasn't integration, tell me what the fucking solution is. Don't give me no statistics and talk about how we far behind financially. That's duh, motherfucker. We know that. What can we do as a group that's going to get us to that level? And he never fucking answered that question. Pseudo ass Claude Anderson. Go ahead, Paul.
That is amazing to me, because it was Claude Anderson 25 years ago that gave the most poignant answer. Not entirety integration, but aggregation. To be aggregate. The problem with the full entirety of the integration, because it was the entirety of our community. And because of that, we've lost some very main pillars of our community. What should have happened is that certain parts, not the entirety, should have been integrated. That's the answer. Not the entirety of integration, but only the parts that were a win-win for both the dominant white society and black folk. That's the answer. Not all of it, just only the where it counts for the both of us.
We already, though, mentally, the mental part is the most important part. When you integrate into this society, a lot of these people thought integration meant to lose yourself and to assimilate. Not integrate. They want to assimilate into YT culture, into this American mindset. That was the problem. So you couldn't stop that, though. Once the federal government did what they did and put everything in place to integrate, you couldn't stop how this individualism just skyrocketed. We look at Clarence Thomas, individualist than a motherfucker.
So you're saying FBAs are pro or anti-segregation? I'm kind of curious how this all fits in. I'm just trying to keep up with you here.
A lot, like I said, all of them don't agree. There is no 10-point plan with FBAs. There is no. If you go on the website, they have no real policy. You get what I'm saying? It's scattered than a motherfucker.
I hear that, but then I'm trying to understand, because you were not you. I'm sorry, but that other guy, he already left the room. He was throwing a lot of stuff around, and he was saying it like it was a whole political platform of like white nationalism, and I'm just like I never even seen a platform. He was kind of putting a lot on it, and he was saying stuff I didn't even know. Oh yeah, I think he's back now.
Yeah, right. So again, this is the problem, right? Of course, because I've been listening, and I had to drop because I took a phone call, but I've been listening. So I think for you, sir, more specifically, that you need to start at the person named Tariq Nasheed. I forget his real name because that's not his real name.
It's Mark.
And then so then, if you start with the progenitor, you start at the beginning and you see the how he continues to change and morph and mutate and change and morph and mutate over and over and over again. Now, this is the same person. The person that I'm talking about, Tariq Nasheed, is a person who, in his own book, How to Be a Mac, or whatever the name of it, talks about turning out 14 and 15-year-old girls from high school, because he was also a part of a particular HBO show way back in the day called hoes up, pimps down, right? You can look up an interview with him and the director, Michael Moore, where he talks about him being a pimp or a Mac or whatever. So these
Wait,
are the
so
things that you have to take
is he
into
like,
consider. Wait.
is he like the leader, or is he
No, well,
like, why
he
is,
says he's not. What up, though, bro? Yeah, he says he's not, of course, right? This is what we call plausible deniability. So if anything were to come up and happen, he's not the person that, he's not going to stand up and say, yeah, he ain't Martin Luther King Jr. He's not Malcolm X. He's not Farrakhan. He's not no real black leader, right? He's not that person because again, but he's the person who has, what's the word, trademarked. And he you go to his website, Foundational Black American website, you'll see he has all of his merchandise on there and all of these things. I think that the brother Don Dada kind of alluded to it. If you go to this website, just like the Nation of Islam have like 10 particular pillars, what we want as Muslim and other groups like the Black Panthers had their 10-point system or whatever. And these people told you who they were. According to Tariq Nasheed and what it means to be a foundational Black American, 2 out of the 3 pillars that he established himself are falsehoods, right? Where he says that Black people are aboriginal to America. That's fake and phony. And then Black people, these same Black people, are explorers who traded with the same Black people, the Aboriginal people of the Americas, right? So again, and we see through everything that he's created, whether it be, what's the name of the series? What's it called? His little
Hidden Colors.
Yeah, Hidden Colors. So, years and years ago, he created Hidden Colors, which is fantastical, not fantastic. Is all about fantasy and fiction when it comes to African and Black American history, African American and Black American history, and world history, African history worldwide. It's full of pseudo history, pseudo science, things that have been debunked over and over again. Again, that leads to the miseducation of our community. So then he moved again, like somebody said, he was a part of ADOS. ADOS is a particular movement that was started by Yvette Carnell. Yvette Carnell, in regards to her specifically, I won't degrade who she is because I can actually use factual information to let y'all know that she ain't about shit. But he was a part of that movement, but they had a particular falling out. And so he co-opted Dr. Claude Anderson's talking points. When Dr. Claude Anderson is talking about Native Black Americans, he wasn't talking about like indigenous Black Americans. He was saying that Black Americans born on the soil. That's more specific and concise to Dr. Claude Anderson's, the author of Black Economics, right? So again, this guy is a grifter. We know this. But then here's where the grift really comes in, is when he has been a proponent of Black voter apathy, meaning he has been a proponent of talking about tangibles. Don't vote unless we get tangibles. But guess what? He never produced a plan. Even the rapper Ice Cube came up with a plan, but this man has never submitted anything where we should go out, how we should attack politics, economics, and whatever. You know why? Because again, plausible deniability. He doesn't want to be known as the face. So therefore, he used the word lineage and delineation in ways that neither one of those words mean what he meant them to mean. And Black people continue like we've always done. Like we did with Noble Drew Ali, like I say, like we did with Yahweh Ben Yahweh, like we did with Dwight York. We sop it up like biscuits and syrup, opposed to doing our due diligence and understanding that the intellectual black man and woman is the threat, not the pimp and the hustler. The pimp and the hustler is only going to milk off of the people from where they come from. The intellectual is trying to move us forward. And it's too many of us, or especially when it comes down to this fake black Indian movement and this fake FBA movement, when you talk to these people, they bastardize education. They are so anti-education, it's pathetic. When, in fact, throughout the course of our, and I'll land here, just give you a fun fact. Prior to emancipation, 10% of our population was literate. After emancipation, 90% of our population was literate. Today, 88% of black men 18 and up cannot read past a 12th grade reading level. Fourth graders, black boys, are deficient when it comes down to reading because people who look like us, people who are a part of our community, hate education. They hate it so much because the white man, they always blame it on the white man. The white man did this, the white man did that. And who instilled that in us? Black men. And I'm tired of it.
Let me real quick. All right. Yeah, I was looking this up. I had an old prompt I had put up. It was like, why does FBA adopt the Great Replacement theory and just oppose it to immigrants, support MAGA, and even ICE? Yeah, because they support ICE too. We always forgot to bring that part up. The adoption of anti-immigrant rhetoric, aligning with MAGA platforms and supporting enforcement agencies like ICE by some foundational Black Americans FBA movement is driven by a psychological phenomenon known as the defensive ethnocentrism combined with a perceived resource security. And that's why I say look up that that Great Replacement theory because this is exactly what it is. And I referenced it earlier when I was talking about Claude Anderson when he came up with the term Native Black. And I got a video on there somewhere. He said if you lump all immigrants in with Black people, then there ain't gonna be no resources for us, right? Once again, making that misconception that that Mello like destructed as far as the distinction between African Americans and other Black immigrants. So. But it actually pulled up this paper from Carnegie Mellon University. I didn't get to read it all yet, but it's pretty much going over the same thing. The title says, "Are you with the ops or not?" Right wing disinformation within the reparationist movement. If y'all want this link, I can send that to y'all. But it's CMU EDU. Are you with the ops or not? Let me see if I can read a little more of this. Just go over like on one part of it. Adopting replacement rhetoric, while traditional Great Replacement theory is a white supremacist conspiracy rooted in their fear of white people being ethnically replaced. FBA groups adapt and modify a version of it. Their psychological fear is a political and cultural replacement. They worry that a massive influx of Latino and non-native Black immigrants will dilute a specific political voting bloc, making their distinct demands, such as lineage-based reparations, completely obsolete. Pretty much just what I said, a little bit more articulate, but
yeah, I guess I've seen that before.
Okay.
Yeah, but to be honest with you, I don't know what you're gonna think of this, but I watch a lot of Dr. Umar, and he said the same thing too. I saw him do an interview not too long ago, and he said the same thing.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I can't keep up with Dr. Umar anymore until he unblocks me because he's a more sympathizer. But now, yeah, I just have to say that. Now he does push back against the. I don't know how he does it. He pushed back against the Pretendian claim for the Abu Bakr claim. But I guess it's better than being a full blown out of the soil Pretendian. Nonetheless, Prince, I appreciate your patience. You want to tap into this conversation with me? Let me actually pull the original backdrop up. Y'all tap the screen for me. They still got me on the restriction, but hopefully the interaction will get me up out of there. And let me go ahead and
Hey, real quick before Prince goes, I just want to thank you guys for your knowledge and the conversation.
well, I appreciate you a lot. You're the most patient FBA that I ever came across, and this will actually make for a great post. So if y'all want to recap on this, like I said, I'll send it over to the YouTube. I'll probably either post it tonight or tomorrow, by tomorrow evening. So yeah, definitely go back over any information that you need to. Feel free. But I appreciate you honestly for being like honest in your pursuit of information and not just trying to push an agenda because you already, set your identity to the claim. It's a lot of knowledgeable brothers on here, man. They can run it. They can really all have their individual lives and expound on these topics much more than I can. So I definitely appreciate y'all for adding to it. Black
Yeah,
First, the dog.
yeah, definitely, man. Yeah, I really only heard about FBA when Ryan Coogler went up on stage when he won the award and was like, shout out FBA. I didn't even know about it before then. So I'm not really married to any identity or ideas or anything. And I'm definitely open to, whatever you guys got to say. So,
And it's crazy because I didn't see that specific time, but I did see him reference it before. And hopefully he'll come to the light because one thing that I was really proud of him about is Sinners was, to do a sci-fi movie, so to speak, but not have it full with misinformation. So hopefully he'll do better than Spike Lee because y'all know Spike Lee fell for I can't think of them dude. No, however, y'all know Spike Lee is under however, post, pumping it up. But hopefully his research and directing these videos, especially ones that's like related to history, kind of send it to the light.
Kugler and Michael B. Jordan Kugler are supposed to be doing a Mansa Musa. And there's talks that Mansa Musa is referencing Bakari in his trip before the Columbus.
Yeah, man. And like I say, when I do my research and study this stuff, most of it is for empowerment. So like all of the claims, the Abubakar, we want to get here before the European. But once again, being colonized, I just think our metrics is so skewed off. So we want to thank you for the approval, TikTok. So yeah, we want to be able to get to America before the European. We want to be the ancient Egyptians and not let the Europeans. Everything we trying to do is in context with them. Like, look at it like this because we all know this. Look at it like this: they couldn't get along with their own people because they're not a communal people. They're individualistic. Their land wasn't fruitful like ours. So they had to go leave and find resources somewhere else. That's not a flex. It's genuinely not, opposed to being in a large continent, the tropical zone, being able to get along. When you have disputes, of course, that's natural, but being able, for the most part, to handle them within the group, opposed to having to go run out. We out of resources. We don't got enough. We on barren land. I don't know, but yeah, everything we do is kind of to contrast them, and I don't think that's the metric, but. Nonetheless,
but you're right though, Don. Not to interrupt you, but that's what Afrocentrism is. It's the counter Eurocentrism. But what we find ourselves doing, right? What we've, I was on a panel talking about Ivan Van Sertima earlier. What has happened, even with the Nation of Islam, even with the ideology that the Hebrew Israelites spill. Right. What we have done is we have usurped, we have co-opted their particular superiority complex. So for the Hebrew Israelites to stand on corners throughout this nation and claim that white people are going to kiss the boots and the feet of black Hebrew Israelites when Jesus miraculously split the fucking sky and come down on his golden chariot with his army of angels, and then we have the Nation of Islam that, always talk about Armageddon and the last days. And we have all of these particular things that come from men who look like us, opposed to actually educating our people and letting them know that our ancestors already gave us the blueprint. All we are supposed to do, and we, to an extent, we have, made some gains, but in order for us to really move forward, due to the fact that we don't have a nation, we don't have an army to protect this nation, we don't have our own rules and regulations, and we have to navigate through this already established bullshit. But we have to do it academically. We have to do it by being involved. We have to do it by, insulating ourselves, keeping that dollar circulating in our community, educating our kids ourselves, making sure that we are a part of local government, and regional government. Maybe not so much as far as what's going on federally, because again, we understand that these people, the enemy, the ones that really stand against us and have stood against us since 1492, they've been working on this shit for years. They plan 20, 50, 100 years in advance, where we're still playing catch up. But we know the fucking playbook. Everything that's going on now happened 50 years ago, 100 years ago. It's nothing new. But the problem is the black man, the black woman across the board won't figure out a way to unite, put aside our ideologies, our ideological differences, and come under the fucking banner that we are a part of this construct called the black race. And it's important for all of us to move as a unit under that particular banner, and then everything else can be sorted out later, because every other racial group, we just had whatever this guy, Chinese.
All right.
Knowing that our
What we got?
ancestors come from West and Central Africa, and I'll land right there.
All right. Anybody want to respond? Anybody want to say something? Anybody want to spoke in a minute? Want to tap into the conversation? I'm probably finna get ready. Probably finna get ready to land it. We've been going. Oh yeah, we've been going. 3:15 right now. So anybody want to tap in?
Well, let me ask Old Dirty a follow-up question. I definitely don't disagree with what you said, but as far as like an entire race, do other races really unify like that? Because I'm just thinking of like the Asian community, like the Asian race, a lot of them really don't get along. Or like, if I'm thinking of like, white people, like there are a lot of like Europeans who don't really get along, and there's like a lot of war in the Middle East. And is it really even realistic to expect all black people to unify like that, especially across like multiple continents? Is that
Right.
is that
Yeah. So Malcolm X, prior to his demise, spoke on Pan-Africanism being the greatest threat to colonization. He recognized that, right? Because he was influenced by these particular African countries and nations that fought for their independence and ended up winning. The ship, what's the ship name? God damn it. What's the name of that movie? Amistad.
Amistad, yeah.
Amistad was a ship filled with different, all Africans, but from different ethnic groups. So Pan-Africanism, that solidarity, that coming together, that unity allowed them to fight for their freedom and return home, and then go through the court system and, ultimately gain their freedom. When you talk about the UA, the European, whatever, European nation or whatever the shit is called, Union, yeah, the EU, European Union. Although be it these people have their differences, but they are united when it comes down to anything, right? When you talk about, South America, like Venezuela was one of the 3 countries who who voted not to recognize the African Holocaust as the worst crime committed against humanity. But they have their unity as a people group, as a race. Even the Chinese and Japanese, although be it they may not like each other to a certain degree, guess what? You're not hearing about these people going after each other.
Well, the
But
Japanese and Chinese
real
hate
quick,
each other, and there's
but
been lots of really
yeah,
bad wars between them. And
historically they have. But what has happened as
South
well?
Koreans and
Real quick,
Point of
real quick,
contention, family. A small
re-
correction. It was Argentina, not Venezuela. Yeah,
no, it wasn't Argentina. It was
yeah.
Venezuela.
No,
I think it
It
was
was
Argentina.
Argentina.
It was
It
Argentina.
was Argentina.
Okay, my
That's
bad.
not real.
Argentina. Okay.
Argentina, Israel, and America says slavery was not a crime. Go
Okay,
ahead. I
my
yield.
bad, brother. Thank you for the correction. Appreciate it. I thought it was Venezuela, but what I'm saying to you is, irregardless to the differences that all these other races may have with one another, what they all do have in common is the fact that they can't stand our black asses, right?
God knows that's true.
Right. So wherever, if there are so many examples of black people in Japan being treated like shit, black people in Jerusalem treated like shit, black people in the Soviet Union treated like shit, black people down in Mexico treated like shit, and especially black people here in America treated like shit. So what we have to understand as a people group, as a racial category, although being constructed by white supremacy, but at the same time, it is socially accepted, a social reality. Race is a social reality. Everybody in the world love our rhythm, but hate our blues. So yes, we need to understand that this is how the world look at us versus how we look at ourselves and one another. We have to understand that when I walk out, or the brother who with the Jamaican accent just came up, if he walk out the door prior to opening his mouth, he still look like me, right? He still walk like me. He may have the same hairstyle or whatever, although beyond bald. But you know what I'm saying? So again, the world views him a certain way. Now, when he opened up his mouth, that still don't make a fucking difference, right? So as black people, racially categorized black people, which black people under the Western definition of what it means to be a black person is a person of African origins. It doesn't matter what continent you're on, what island you're from, or what state you're from. According to Western and now the world view, when it comes down to black people, they know that you're African. And to have a bunch of black people deny that part of themselves and try to present themselves as other is disrespectful, is demeaning, is dangerous, and it's hard for the rest of us who are really proud to be who we are. And I'll land right there.
Yeah,
I want to say something. I want to say something to kind of corroborate that real quick. It's gonna be real quick, I promise. So I don't know if you saw this post. The Elon pretty much put a honey bun on. It says this is what he said, and it's kind of along with your question and what Black Person said. He says, if white T man become a minority, we will be slaughtered. Remember, if non-white T's openly hate white T, this is part of the Great Replacement Theory, so as you know. Hate white T man, while white T men hold a collective majority, then they will be 1,000 times more hostile and cruel when they are the majority over white T's. White T solidarity is the only way to survive. You got the richest white T man stamping it. Then remember when I pulled up the let me see if it's still over here. For talk about FBA's lining up with MAGA, it says right here. The same key word, minority. But I wanted to go over this. I wanted to quote the op, one of the biggest ops, just in response to what you were saying. Ronald Reagan said in the General Assembly, he says, He said, I occasionally think, you may remember this too, I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. He says, and yet I ask you, is not an alien force already among us? What could be more alien to the universal aspiration of our peoples than war and a threat of war? That's what he has said. And then I'll just land it with this. Let me see if I can show you a little bit of what the Great Replacement Theory is. A theory that white nationalists, far-right conspiracy theory that falsely assert a deliberate orchestrated plot to replace white native-born populations in the Western countries with non-white immigrants. Proponents. So this is essentially what it's saying. And just to answer your question, they are uniting with, even though it's with a pseudo conspiracy, and it's the same one. They trying to put a black mask on with the FBA. We don't have to unite, and that's the reason why I read that Ronald Reagan speech, because he said, "Is an alien force not already among us?" If you got people already pretty much making you the opposition to them, you're not going to have no force ultimately to unite just to defend yourself.
So I got a question. So do you think when he was making that quote of alien force, do you think he was referring to a specific race, a specific group of people, or was it just a metaphor for war or not?
In this context, yeah, I think
As metaphor for the ops.
Yeah.
So you're probably talking about us, right?
Anybody they consider ops, because they would have ran the list down from communists to this, that, leftists, hippies,
Communists,
anybody
small
that's
hats,
not.
leftists.
Yeah, because this would have been around the time of the Cold War.
Damn, my ass thought he was talking about aliens or some shit. Some alien invasion or some shit.
Yeah, nigga, we is aliens. We aliens.
I thought he was talking like some Independence Day shit.
No, he was using both. He was saying that, to unite the planet, it would take an alien invasion, blah blah blah, but what he's saying also is, I guess, basically to unite the first world governments during that time. Everybody else would have been excluded, I'm sure.
Right. So one thing I want Max to do, Max, again, I gave you a couple of things, right? But take this one down. Look up Marco Rubio's speech that he did in front of the European Union just this year, and listen to it carefully. Now, Marco Rubio, of course, we know is a Cuban American. His ancestry comes from Cuba. I think he does have that admixture as well. But he's been touted as one of the first Cuban Americans to be a part of our government. Listen to how he speaks to these people, and how at some point of his speech, he declares and boastfully that America is the son or daughter or whatever he said of Europe. So when we talk about race, we understand that these are the people who constructed this ideology. So when they talk about being white, they're talking about being European. They talk about this is a Judeo-Christian, Anglo-Saxon. That has nothing to do with black people. Yeah, they want to get rid of illegal immigrants. And to a degree, you have, these same white people that want to get rid of immigrants altogether. And then now we have black people saying the same thing. I have FBA and fake pretendians telling me to go back to Africa. And I'm born in Detroit, Michigan. My people from Alabama and Georgia and Virginia, off them boats. So when black people start taking on these particular talking points, we have to have a reset. And I'm using that word loosely at this particular moment because somebody else I brought it up, and we had a little discussion. I just got to do a little bit more research on it. But we definitely need to have a particular point in our existence here as African American people, as African descendant people who has been a part of this country for all of these hundreds of years. We have to get our shit together ideologically, educationally, spiritually, whatever we need to do in order to move forward and survive. We are, you know, again, you know, my grandfather used to always say, black people are some trifling people to deal with. And we see that. We've had these leaders that stood up and fought for our liberation, and we didn't shield them, we didn't insulate them and protect them, and then they met their particular demises. We've had organizations that have given their all in order to make sure that we have rights and education, but these people still find a way. But that's the people, right? Although be it that's a small part of our population in our community, but they always have the loudest voices. And what we see on the internet is not what we deal with in real life, but because the internet is where our young people are now going to get their information from. And then we have some older people who didn't have, you know, the wherewithal to go to school and graduate, and they're getting that information. And this shit is becoming a perpetual cycle of misinformation and again, intellectual degradation amongst our community. And we have to figure out a way to stop it. And then we can move forward as a people. Because I'm not uniting with no Hebrew Israelite. I'm not uniting with no nigga that's talking about he from Pocahontas's line, bloodline. I'm not gonna do that. Those people, in my opinion, are race traders, and that's how I feel. So when we talk about being FBA, it sounds good, but let's make sure that we do our due diligence and understand from where this type of stuff is coming from and whom especially, because a lot of these people don't have our best interests at heart. And that's the problem that I have when it comes down to all of these particular fringe groups. They don't have our best interests at heart as African and Black Americans here on this land.
All right, y'all. Hey, I'm finna go ahead and land the live. Like I said, I'm gonna have it up on YouTube. Max, I appreciate you. I'm gonna go ahead and send you a follow. We can pick up this conversation another time if you would like to. Make sure you follow Old Dirty Mello and them, because they always be in the mix if I'm on most of the time. So, but once again,
Okay, I'll definitely follow, because I definitely got some more questions for you, and I got a couple of ideas that I wonder if it might change your guys' opinion, or maybe just have some. Well, not change your opinion, but just, I don't know. I'm just curious what you think about it.
Yeah, we definitely continue the conversation at a later date, man. Once again, Mello, Black, I appreciate y'all. Azar, Britton, y'all make sure y'all check them fellas out. If y'all seen this on YouTube, make sure y'all pull up on the TikTok, man. We be on here. Follow the cat, follow the gang.
Appreciate you, Don Dada, man. Always glad to see you, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'd be excited, you know, when you come up, man. So, hell yeah. We're going to keep on doing what we do best. Flat out.
Oh, let me show you something before you get out of here.
Mello, you my man. Appreciate you, Mello.
No doubt, G. Yeah, you kept it real up here today, brother. I appreciate you too, man. Don, let me show you something before you bounce. It's going to take 2 seconds, so hold on, bro. You got to see this.
All right, y'all. Take care.
All right, now. Come on, go in the back room. Because I don't know why she didn't put you up.
All right, where you at? Where you go? Hold on. Oh, there we go. Found him. Yeah, let me show you this, man.
Oh.
His name is he a rapper. His name is Cult Leader, bro. That's how I expect when the niggas are talking about they coming out want to be copper colored. Oh, it's not gonna show me the whole thing.
Let me see if I can put you on the other screen.
This nigga whole body painted red, bro. Oh, I got another one. I'm gonna see if I can
send it to me on IG.
All right, bet. I got you, bro. Yo, you gotta see his face. Wait till you see when you see his face. Oh man. All right, G, I'm gonna holler at you.
All right, yeah. Once again, man, y'all, we got this thing, but like I said, appreciate everybody all the time, man. I appreciate everybody that was in a chat. tapping the screen. Y'all got us up to close to 35,000 likes, man. Definitely salute to y'all. I wish I could name drop. I don't want to try to mess up nobody's name, but y'all know who y'all are. Salute to all the ladies. I've been seeing y'all in the chat holding it down. Love, respect. All right, y'all. We got this thing, man. It's Don Dada.